how did a Prince of Persia-inspired game about assassins that was grounded and cool like this turn into a freaking battle story about Norse gods?
Would have turned you into the wrecker of worlds, but in this feeble state, his light will devour you whole.
Wow. After playing through the entire series, I'm happy to announce that I have absolutely no clue whatsoever. But that's kinda how it goes at Ubisoft. They can't help but jump the shark. That's right, today we're covering the entire story of the mainline Assassin's Creed games. Starting in 2007, this game used to be a landmark of smooth gameplay and accurate depictions of historical locations. And while it still does the historical stuff pretty well, the gameplay is questionable. And maybe some of the storylines. Regardless, there's 14 games and a hell of a lot of lore to cover, so we should probably just get into it. Oh, wait, before we go, some basic info. The Assassins are an ancient brotherhood dedicated to stopping evil in all of its forms. The Templars are the resident evil corporation looking to force order onto the world, and the Isu are an advanced race of beings that existed before the current human civilization. They created powerful relics called the Pieces of Eden. Okay, that's all you really need to know for now, so let's get to it. Time to go to the place that it all began, the very first Assassin's Creed game. Our story begins with a bartender named Desmond Miles being kidnapped by Abstergo Industries. They want him to be their lab rat for the Animus device, seeing as he used to be an assassin. The Animus device is basically technology that lets people relive their memories of their ancestors.
You're inside the Animus. It's a projector that renders genetic memories in 3 dimensions.
They want Desmond to relive the memories of his ancestor Altair, an assassin who lived during the Third Crusade. But when Desmond enters the Animus, he has trouble syncing with Altair's memories.
Damn it, it's not working. We're losing him. We need to pull him out. Now.
Abstergo employees Lucy Stillman and Warren Vidic argue about Desmond's safety and put him through a tutorial. After this, Lucy tells Desmond that he has to live through the important moments in Altair's life to increase his synchronization. He can then reach the final memory that Abstergo is looking for.
We find a memory you can synchronize with, and we move forward from there.
In the year 1191 AD, we see Altair along with 2 other assassins, Malik and Kadar, and they're on their way to collect a piece of Eden.
The Master believes the Templars have found something beneath the Temple Mount,
but are beaten to the punch by Robert de Saab. He's the Grand Master of the Knights of Templar. Now, the assassins have 3 rules. Never kill an innocent, stay hidden, and never compromise the Brotherhood. Unfortunately, Altair does all 3 and hits the fan. Kadar dies, Malik brings back the piece of Eden but loses an arm.
All of this could have been avoided! And my brother would still be alive!
And the assassins have to fight off a Templar attack at their base in Masyaf. After surviving, the leader of the assassins, Al-Mualim, brings the hammer down. I should say he brings the knife though, because he stabs Altair in front of everybody. But Altair is alive. That was just Al-Mualim cooking him.
You saw what I wanted you to see. Do you remember, Altair, what it is the assassins fight for?
Peace. In all things.
Yes, in all things.
Al-Mualim then demotes Altair right back to being a novice. He does give Altair a second chance though. First, Altair has to find the traitor who's helping Robert de Saab and the Templars. His mission is simple. Assassinate 9 important figures across Jerusalem, Acre, and Damascus to bring peace. In classical AC fashion, each target is based on an actual historical figure. So Altair travels all over the place, taking out evil scumbags as he goes. With each kill, Altair learns more about Al-Mualim, Robert, and the Templars. The ruler of Jerusalem, Majd ad-Din, is the next target, and Altair goes after him.
Do you know what it feels like to determine another man's fate? And did you see the way that people cheered?
After killing him, Sabrand and Jubair al-Hakim are next. Sabrand is a tough bastard, but Altair takes him down all the same. But Sabrand puts Altair in doubt. After all, he's a man following orders just like Altair.
You worked to overthrow cities, control men's minds, murdered any who spoke against you.
I followed my orders, believing in my cause. Same as you.
Jubair al-Hakim is next, and Altair takes him down after stalking him. With all these Templars down, Robert de Saab is the last person that needs to be killed, so Altair goes to Jerusalem to face him. He kills Robert and removes his mask, only to see it's not Robert at all. He then uncovers Robert's true plan, which is to turn the Muslims and the Christians against the Assassins.
The bodies you've left behind, victims on both sides. You've made the Assassins an enemy in common and ensured the annihilation of your entire order.
Altair then faces Robert in hand-to-hand combat and kills Robert to stop his plan. But before he dies, Robert tells Altair that Al-Mualim is actually double-crossing the Assassins. He helped the Templars find the Piece of Eden and then betrayed them. Al-Mualim wants the Piece of Eden for himself.
Do you think he'll let you live, knowing what you do?
I've no interest in the treasure.
But he does. The only difference between your master and I is that he did not want to share.
So, Altair rushes back to Assassin's headquarters and demands an explanation from Al-Mualim. Al-Mualim explains that the Piece of Eden has the power to cast illusions, and Al-Mualim is going to use it to brainwash all of humanity, ending all war. He then uses the illusions against Altair, but Altair locks in and finds a way to defeat and kill him.
You held fire in your hand, old man. It should have been destroyed.
Destroy the only thing capable of ending the Crusades and creating true peace? Never.
Then I will.
He then grabs the Piece of Eden, and it shows him the locations of a lot of other pieces of Eden all over Earth, with the memory complete. Desmond wakes up and realizes that Abstergo is the modern-day Templar organization, and they're going to look for the pieces of Eden they found in Altair's memories. After this, a high-ranking Templar named Alan Rickon says Desmond has done his part and should be killed. But Lucy saves him, saying Desmond can still be useful.
We might need him. His memories. I'd recommend we hold him until we have confirmation that there aren't any surprises waiting for us at the sites.
Why does she save him? Because she's an assassin working as a double agent in Abstergo. Yeah, they're still around in modern times too. So Desmond is trapped in an Abstergo lab. But his time in the Animus has created a bleeding effect, essentially giving him some of the abilities of his ancestor. Desmond may be out of the Animus, but he got Altair's Eagle Vision. Eagle Vision is basically the ability to see beyond normal human senses, and it's an ability you inherit by having Isu genes. He then sees messages all around his room.
Looks like... is that blood? What the hell were they keeping here before me?
Apparently, on December 21st, 2012, Abstergo will launch a satellite that will end the war. And it looks like they're gonna do what Al-Mualim set out to do all those years ago. But who wrote these messages? The second game in the series picks up right there, as Desmond identifies the person who wrote all these messages at Subject 16. This is when Lucy Stillman shows up covered in blood and frees Desmond.
We have to go.
Lucy, where have you been? Why did they—
Now!
Desmond quickly hops in the Animus and experiences the birth of another one of Desmond's ancestors, Ezio Auditore da Firenze.
Ezio Auditore da Firenze.
While Lucy makes a copy of the info. After escaping, they meet two modern-day assassins, Sean Hastings and Rebecca Crane, at a warehouse, and they have their own versions of an Animus.
We're losing this war, Desmond. We're going to train you. Turn you into one of us.
You broke me out of Abstergo and brought me here just to make me an assassin?
Look, there's more to it than that, but it'll have to wait.
Their plan is simple. Desmond enters the Animus and goes through Ezio's memories, so the assassins can find the pieces of Eden before Abstergo does. Since there aren't a lot of assassins these days, Lucy plans to train Desmond through the bleeding effect. He's gonna absorb all of Ezio's abilities.
You're taking on more than your ancestors' memories. You're taking on their skills, too.
We then hop to 1476 AD, where Ezio is a regular-ass rebellious teenager in Florence during the Renaissance. He belongs to the House of Auditore, a noble family in the city. Ezio spends his days fighting guards, messing around with the beauties of his time, and helping out his dad with stuff. Life's good, and Ezio's happy. Unfortunately, this all goes to one day.
Where is everyone?
They took your father and brothers to the Palazzo della Signoria, to prison.
During a coup, Ezio's father and his brothers are framed for treason. Ezio's dad tells him to find a chest in their home, which has the assassin's weapons and clothes. Meanwhile, Ezio's dad and his brothers are hanged for treason. Whoa. Ezio is now furious, and he wants revenge on his family's murder.
I understand your desire for vengeance, but the Gonfaloniere is a powerful man. You are not a killer, Ezio.
Spare me the lecture.
So Ezio gets some training from a woman named Paola. She runs a brothel, and is secretly an ally of the assassins. She teaches him how to blend in with the crowd, and Ezio uses this to avenge his family.
The Auditori are not dead! I'm still here! Me! Ezio! Ezio Auditore!
After that, he leaves town with his sister and mother, and they make it to his uncle Mario's home in the countryside. There, Mario trains Ezio in the ways of the assassin, and gives him leads on the people that betrayed his family. There's more than one culprit. Ezio sets out for revenge, making friends along the way. One of these friends is freaking Leonardo da Vinci. who decodes the pages of Altair's Codex, which Ezio gets from Mario. Ezio starts taking out the people involved in the conspiracy to frame his dad, and to no one's surprise, the Templars are behind everything.
Gentlemen, tomorrow a new sun rises over Firenze. May the Father of Understanding guide us.
Ezio finds out that a man named Rodrigo Borgia is the leader of the Templars in Italy. Ezio then works his way through a couple more targets in style. 2 years later, in 1480 AD, Ezio is headed to Venice with Leonardo da Vinci when they're suddenly attacked by Borgia's men. They manage to deal with it, and Ezio takes them out. After that, he sets sail for Venice with Leonardo. Who knew Da Vinci was such a badass? Desmond then takes a break from the Animus, and it looks like he's learned all of Ezio's assassin skills. Anyway, Ezio crosses 2 more names off his list, one of whom he kills after literally flying into the building with one of Leonardo's insane flying inventions. If y'all are not familiar with these, I highly recommend you look them up. They're crazy. Fast forward to 1486 AD, and Marco Barbarigo is the man Ezio's after. Using a new hidden pistol Leonardo gave him, Ezio kills Marco. Silvio Barbarigo is the last man before the big bad Rodrigo.
We were meant to sail. Sail where? I'll never tell.
In the year 1488 AD, Ezio tracks Rodrigo down to Venice. Rodrigo's found a powerful piece of Eden called the Apple of Eden, and wants to use it to find more pieces of Eden and take over the world.
The prophet is already here. I am the prophet. Now give me the apple.
Come and take it from me.
Standard Assassin's Creed villain stuff. So Ezio and Rodrigo fight. Ezio's cooking Rodrigo, so Rodrigo's guards show up to help. This is when Ezio's backup shows up. The Assassin's Brotherhood is here. There are a bunch of them here, including the father of modern political science, Niccolo Machiavelli, and Rodrigo knows that he's totally screwed. So he drops the apple and escapes. The assassins then officially induct Ezio into the order and say that he's the prophet who will lead the assassins to the vault full of the pieces of Eden.
We work in the dark to serve the light. We are assassins.
Are you ready to join us?
I am.
After realizing that the Apple of Eden is a superpowered relic, the assassins tell him to take it to another assassin, Caterina Sforza. He then helps Caterina save her kids from some of Rodrigo's men. Unfortunately, this was a trick to steal the apple.
As soon as you left, they attacked again. Checco Orsi. He has the apple. What? No!
Luckily, Ezio's a total badass and gets the apple back pretty quick, only to get stabbed in the stomach. He falls down, and someone else takes the apple as Ezio passes out. Turns out, the guy who took it is Fra Savonarola, and he is one evil son of a... So after taking out all of his lieutenants, Ezio turns the people against him. The apple is recovered, and Fra is taken out.
We are free to follow our own path. There are those who will take that freedom from us. Choose your own way. Do not follow me, or anyone else.
Ezio and the assassins then use the apple to locate the vault in Roma. Meanwhile, through Ezio's memories, Desmond discovers something insane. The Subject 16 that left messages at Abstergo hacked into the Animus. They left 20 glyphs throughout different landmarks, and only someone using the Animus can see them. Each glyph has photos, messages, and artwork about the Templars and pieces of Eden. There's also a video that's there, but it's out of order. So after finding and decoding all 20 glyphs, the video is revealed. The video is titled Subject 16 Session 12 Classified Date BCE, and follows a man and a woman calling each other Adam and Eve in a super futuristic place. Adam and Eve run through a factory where people are building more pieces of Eden. They make it to the roof, where Eve holds up the apple. The video suddenly ends with a flash of binary code, and if you decode it, it translates to Eve. What is going on? They then continue going through Ezio's memories, which resume in 1499 AD. Turns out the scumbag Rodrigo managed to gain influence in the Catholic Church and has become the friggin' Pope. Ezio and the assassins then find out that the vault with the piece of Eden is under the Vatican. What's more, Rodrigo's papal staff is also a piece of Eden, and he's going to use it to get into the vault. So Ezio goes to the Vatican and faces Rodrigo. They fight using the piece of Eden, and Rodrigo manages to get his hands on both the apple and the staff.
At last.
But when Rodrigo tries to enter the vault, he fails. Ezio catches up and defeats him, but refuses to kill him, saying it won't bring his family back.
Killing you won't bring my family back. I'm done.
If not for revenge, he should kill Rodrigo for just being an... If you play these games like me, you kill guards just for looking at you funny. Ezio then holds the staff in the apple, and wouldn't you know it, the vault opens right up. He might actually be the prophet, but there are no pieces of Eden inside. Only a holographic woman named Minerva. Minerva says that she brought Ezio here for a reason, so that Desmond and the others would hear her words through the Animus in the future.
I do not wish to speak with you, but through you. You are the prophet. You've played your part. You anchor him, but please be silent, that we may commune.
Minerva explains the whole Isu thing. They used to rule the world, and created humans just to use them as slaves. But the humans rebelled, war happened, and then a catastrophe killed most everybody. The remaining humans and Isu then worked together to recreate the world. After that, the Isu sealed themselves in temples across the world. Minerva then speaks directly to Desmond. She says she's done her part, and that the rest is up to him.
The rest is up to you, Desmond.
What? Who is Desmond?
What the?
If I was Desmond, I would have totally passed out. The memory then ends, and Desmond wakes up to see Abstergo attacking. Lucy and Desmond take out the Abstergo forces, but Vidic promises to come back for them and drives away.
Enjoy your victory, Mr. Miles. Temporary as it is.
Desmond and the others then pack up shop and head out to find a new base. Lucy says that the catastrophe Minerva was talking about was probably the geomagnetic reversal of Earth. And if you know anything about physics, that is bad news. Lucy decides that they need to go back into Ezio's memories. They're not done with them just yet. Brotherhood picks up right there, with Desmond going into Ezio's memories again. He wants to go to 1506 AD and look for the Apple of Eden, but ends up getting transported right back to 1499 instead. After hearing Minerva's message, Ezio leaves the vault.
You would not believe the things I have seen, Mario.
Then be sure to stay alive that I might hear of them.
Rodrigo is gone, and the staff gets sealed into the floor. Ezio meets Mario and gives him the apple. Ezio can't decide what to do with it. They then leave for Monteregione and are having a swell old time. Ezio tells the assassins what happened to the vault, and Machiavelli is mad at Ezio for not killing Rodrigo.
You should have killed him. We're sure to suffer for it.
I am not here to debate the past. Together, we should discuss the future.
Unfortunately, while Ezio is having some personal time, Monteregione is attacked by Rodrigo Borgia's son, Cesare Borgia. Ezio is injured, Mario is killed, and Monteregione is left in ruins.
We thought you had been killed, Ser Ezio.
Not yet.
Where does this passage lead?
To the north.
Ezio tries to chase Cesare, but passes out. Desmond then wakes up, as he, Lucy, and the others make it to a modern-day Monteregione and their final safe house in Italy. Lucy says they need to get to Ezio's Apple of Eden. She thinks Minerva changed it somehow, that it's key to saving the world. They make their way into the underground sanctuary through a hidden passage and set up shop. After that, Desmond's eagle vision shows an older version of Ezio that was in the sanctuary at some point, and he left a message on the wall.
He looks so old. Ezio must have come back here way after the attack. But why?
Desmond, Lucy, Sean, and Rebecca work together to get the Animus up and running, and Lucy says Desmond should improve his synchronization with Ezio. It's the key to finding the apple. Ezio then wakes up in a house in Rome. A woman has been taking care of him and tells Ezio that a man left new armor and clothes for him. After that, Ezio goes and meets Niccolo Machiavelli.
We were certain that you were dead.
Not yet. I am still very much alive.
Machiavelli tells Ezio how Rome is being oppressed by the Borgia family, and Ezio is not having that. So, with a base on Tiber Island, Ezio starts freeing Rome of the evil Borgia. He unites the courtesans, the thieves, and the mercenaries, and rallies them against the true evil. Ezio then recruits citizens to the Assassins' Brotherhood, and when they're trained, Ezio sends them on missions all over Europe.
Today, Cesare commands my men, but soon, I hope we will be free.
Man has turned into a true leader. Meanwhile, he continues his siege on the Borgias, stealing military funding, attacking their weapon storage, cutting off support from the French. Ezio does it all. He even assassinates 2 of Cesare's key men. He's cooking. Ezio then finds out that Caterina has been trapped by Cesare's sister, Lucrezia Borgia.
Who put you up to this? Was it your brother or your father? Perhaps a bit of both? Perhaps at the same time?
Chiudi la bocca! None speak ill of the Borgia!
He goes to free Caterina and finds out that she messes around with an actor named Pietro Rossi. You see, Pietro happens to have a key to the Borgia stronghold, and Cesare has a whole incest thing with Lucrezia. Ugh. Cesare wants Pietro dead, and Ezio needs him alive because he wants Pietro's key. So, after breaking Caterina out from prison, Ezio saved Pietro's life twice, and Pietro hands him the key. After that, Ezio inducts Claudia into the Assassin's Order and is appointed by Machiavelli to become the new mentor of the Italian assassins.
Now, we must put Ezio where he belongs. at the head of the assassins.
After all that, it's time to infiltrate the Borgias. Ezio makes his way inside and sees Cesare talking to Rodrigo. They disagree over the piece of Eden. Cesare wants it, but Rodrigo doesn't want to hand it over.
It is high time you took responsibilities for your actions.
My accomplishments! Despite the constant interference of failures like you!
So they get into a fight. Lucrezia tries to stop them, but Cesare just kills Rodrigo. What kind of sick bastard kills his own father? Cesare then forces Lucrezia to tell him where the Apple of Eden is, and learning that it's in San Pietro, heads out to get it. But Ezio gets there first, and he uses the apple to demilitarize the remnants of Cesare's army. Cesare escapes, but it's only a matter of time. Soon, the final battle is upon them.
Come to watch my triumph! Soon Micheletto and his army will arrive, but you shall be dead before then.
Ezio and his assassins versus Cesare and his chumps. Cesare and his men lose, and he's arrested by Fabio Orsini by the order of the new pope. But even though he's lost, Cesare seems confident. He says he won't be trapped for long.
This is not how it ends! Chains will not hold me! I will not die by the hands of man!
That the hands of man can't kill him. Okay. Pretty weird. Ezio's worried about what Cesare said, so Leonardo tells him to use the apple and see if Cesare was bluffing or telling the truth. Turns out, Cesare was telling the truth. He's going to escape prison, so Ezio leaves everything behind and goes after him. In the year 1507, he finally tracks down Cesare at the siege of Viana.
Cesare! The walls surround you! There is nowhere to run!
Come then, Ezio!
There, Ezio defeats Cesare and throws him to his death, ending the Borgia's nonsense once and for all, and ending me having to say his name so many times with an Italian accent. After this, Desmond sees a memory of Ezio locking up the apple in a vault below the Santa Maria Araceli church. They know where the apple is now, so the assassins head to the Colosseum in Rome to look for a way into the vault.
If you arrange the 4 Hebrew letters in God's name within an equilateral triangle, their numerical values add up to the same number, 72.
Desmond splits up from the others and goes through an underground passage where he meets the Isu, Juno. Juno is kind of a weirdo, who's totally obsessed with the downfall of humanity.
In the beginning, we set our truths to parchment, to stone, to the memory of men. These proved impermanent things, cleansed by fire, cleansed by famine, cleansed by flood.
After making it inside the church, Desmond lets his teammates in. He then follows Ezio's memories to reach the vault, and inside, Desmond and his team finally see it. The Apple of Eden.
So where are the temples?
You want me to ask it?
Or think it or something.
After finally making it to the apple, Desmond touches it, and a bunch of holographic symbols are displayed all over the place. Sean is about to make a point about 2 of the symbols, the Phrygian cap and the Masonic eye, when time seems to stop. Juno takes control of Desmond and forces him to stab Lucy. No.
You know very little. We must guide you.
Lucy and Desmond then both pass out. What the hell, Juno? After that, we hear 2 men speaking. They're both members of the Assassin Brotherhood. One is Harlan T. Cunningham, and the other is William Miles. You've known him as the leader of the modern assassins so far. What you don't know is that he's Desmond's father. Wow, what a twist. Anyway, William orders for Desmond to be put back into the Animus. Even though Desmond is in a coma, William says he'll live through it. Starting to think William isn't a great dad. Revelations kicks off with us realizing that Lucy did not survive Juno's attack.
We can keep him like this for a few days, maybe a week.
Call ahead. Tell him we're on our way.
She's fully dead. Desmond is inside an Animus, and while Sean stayed back for Lucy's funeral, Rebecca is here to monitor Desmond, and they're on their way to New York. Speaking of Desmond, he wakes up on Animus Island, sort of mental space inside the Animus. There, he meets the virtual version of Abstergo Subject 16, whose name is Clay.
Rebecca! Get me out of here!
They can't help you, Desmond. You're a broken man.
Clay explains that Desmond has to finish living Ezio's memories and achieve a sync nexus if he wants to wake up. Fun fact, this was my very first Assassin's Creed game, and you can imagine how confused I was as a 10-year-old. So, we go back to an old-ass Ezio in the year 1511 AD. Ezio's on his way to Masyaf for Altair's secret library. On his way there, Ezio gets kidnapped by a man named Leandros and his Templars. But he just kind of escapes and heads back to Masyaf, where he realizes he'll need some special keys to get in. The worker at the library says the Templars have one key, and that Leandros' book has the locations of all the other keys.
What are the keys?
These Templars found one beneath the Ottoman Sultan's palace. As for the others, I suppose the little book will tell them.
So Ezio heads back, takes the book from Leandros, and kills him. Just kind of standard Ezio stuff. In between, Clay reminds Desmond to finish Ezio's memories if he wants to get out.
I keep the Animus distracted as best I can. For you, so you can explore.
Back with Ezio, he heads for Constantinople to find the rest of the keys. Ezio makes it to Constantinople in a couple of months and meets the leader of the Assassin Brotherhood there, Yusuf Tazim.
By your custom, I would be Yusuf Tazim da Istanbul.
Yusuf gives Ezio a tour and a new weapon called the Hookblade, and Ezio helps him out against the Templars. We then see Clay and Desmond talking again. You see, Ezio just got to Animus Island, but Clay has been here for a long time. His physical body died, and his consciousness is trapped here with no place to go.
I don't want to be here anymore.
After helping out some more, Ezio follows the keys trail to a bookshop run by a woman named Sophia Sartor. After talking to her, Ezio finds the first key, along with an encrypted map that helps him find rare books with the locations of the other keys. Sophia agrees to decode the map in exchange for making some copies of the books.
I'll make that deal. How about you, Yudovich? You make that deal?
I'd make that deal.
I don't blame you. Damn good deal.
After that, Ezio helps Yusuf save the Ottoman Prince Suleiman from an assassination attempt orchestrated by one of his own men, Tarek Barlati. So Ezio investigates, and realizes Tarek is in cahoots with Manuel Palaiologos, the ex-heir of the Byzantine Empire. So Suleiman tells Ezio to murk Tarek. But as soon as he does, Tarek tells Ezio that he was actually planning on double-crossing Manuel.
I was preparing an ambush. Preparing to strike the Byzantine Templars where they felt safest. Destroy them if you can. You have done well, Tarek.
Tarek then makes Ezio promise to go through with his plan, so Ezio does just that. While working for Suleiman, Ezio keeps finding more keys with the help of Sophia, and he grows closer with her as the time passes. But the life of an assassin is too dangerous, and he doesn't want to put her in any trouble.
A small role is enough for this adventure, believe me.
You are a mystery, Ezio Auditore.
I will explain one day, Sophia.
Anyway, with each key Ezio finds, he relives key moments from Altair's life, saving Masyaf from an attack in 1190, the whole Al-Mu'alam thing, Altair's son being killed by a traitor, and Altair using the Apple of Eden for revenge. Altair coming back into power with the Assassins as an old man.
You have wasted your life staring into that apple!
I learned many things from the apple, of the past and the future. Let me show you.
Altair lived one hell of a life, man. It's awesome. Meanwhile, Ezio makes it to Cappadocia to fulfill Tarek's mission, leaving Sophia in Yusuf's protection. Ezio gets to Cappadocia and blows up Manuel's armory, which causes a big fire. He then goes and meets Tarek's informant, and after helping her out, he corners Manuel, kills him, and gets the final key.
I am here for the Masyaf key.
Then take it. Take it. Seek your fortune.
But the trouble is far from over. Ezio realizes that Suleiman's uncle, Prince Ahmet, is working with the Byzantine Empire and the Templars. Ahmet demands that Ezio hand over the key he just stole, and when Ezio refuses, Ahmet says he'll go after Sophia.
Perhaps I should ask someone who knows better. Sophia Sartor.
Ezio rushes back to Constantinople and relives Altair's final memory on the way back. In the last memory, Altair is an old man. After defeating some Mongols with Machiavelli and Mafio Polo, Altair gives them his codex and the keys. Altair specifically asks for their keys to be hidden, so the person meant to know their message will seek them out. Ezio then makes it to Constantinople, finding that he's a wanted man, and rushes to Sophia's bookshop. There, he finds a bunch of dead assassins, including Yusuf, and Ezio is beyond furious.
Brothers, sisters, the whole city rises against us, while Yusuf's murderer waits and watches from the arsenal. Fight with me, and show him what it means to cross the assassins.
He gathers some assassins and storms into the harbor of Theodosius. There, he corners Ahmet and demands to know where Sophia is. Ahmet agrees to release her if Ezio meets him at the Galata Tower with all of Altair's keys. After that, Ahmet leaves, and Suleiman asks Ezio to stop Ahmet without killing him if that's possible.
He fears the disorder that comes from difference.
Spare my uncle if you can.
Would your father?
We're gonna go ahead and say that that isn't possible at all. Ezio then meets Ahmet at the Galata Tower, where one of his men is about to throw Sophia off of the top of it. Ezio hands over the keys and rushes to Sophia, only to realize that woman isn't Sophia at all. Sophia is about to be hanged in a totally different location. So Ezio makes his way to Sophia and manages to save her just in time. He and Sophia then chase after Ahmet, who's on his way back to Masyaf. After a big fight and even bigger fall, Ezio manages to stop Amit and take back the keys. And he's wondering what the hell he's gonna do with Amit. That's when Amit's brother and Suleiman's father Selim shows up with a bunch of Ottoman soldiers. Selim pushes his brother off a nearby cliff and tells Ezio to never come back to Constantinople. Sure, Ezio's an honorable assassin, but he's still an assassin. And since Selim is about to become the Sultan, he's not having any assassins in his town.
Leave this place. Do not return.
This is not your fight.
So Selim leaves, and Sophia and Ezio head to Masyaf. Meanwhile, Desmond meets Clay one last time before the Animus' scheduled deletion erases Clay from existence. He saves Desmond, who goes back to relive the rest of Ezio's memories. So long, Clay. At least you're not stuck in a machine anymore. Back with Ezio, he and Sophia make it to Masyaf.
You had better come out of there alive.
I plan to.
Ezio decides he'll retire after finding what's inside Altair's library and spend the rest of his days with Sophia. Once he makes it to the library, Ezio uses the 5 keys to get inside, where he finds no books in the library, just Altair's corpse with the final key. By the end of 1257 AD, Altair basically had everyone leave Masyaf because of an incoming Mongol attack. After everyone left, Altair sealed himself inside the library with the Apple of Eden and died in one of the chairs there. R.I.P. to a legend. Ezio decides to leave the Apple of Eden as it is and lays down his weapons as a sign of retirement. The apple then activates, and Ezio calls out to Desmond. Ezio admits that his whole life was just a means to get messages through to Desmond, and begs Desmond to make sure his brutal life meant something.
Desmond?
He's talking to me?
Who are we, who have been so blessed to share our stories like this? To speak across centuries. Maybe you will be the one to make all this suffering worth something in the end.
Wow. Ezio's been through so much. He just doesn't want it all to be meaningless. And now, Ezio's gonna live the rest of his life with Sophia. A fitting end for a legendary hero. An apparition of Desmond then appears, and Ezio reaches out for him, triggering a sync nexus. Inside the sync nexus, Desmond meets Jupiter, an Isu scientist. Jupiter explains that the Isu really tried hard to stop the catastrophe that wiped them out. They built a bunch of temples, and each temple tried their best to stop it, but they all failed.
You must go there. Take my words. Pass them from your head into your hands. That is how you will open the way.
Jupiter then shows Desmond the location of the Grand Temple, which is in New York. There, Jupiter, Minerva, and Juno tell Desmond to stop the catastrophe from happening again. After that, Desmond wakes up from his coma.
Look, his vitals are stabilizing.
Desmond, can you hear me? Son?
He meets William, Rebecca, and Sean and tells them what he learned. So they hop in a van and make their way to the Grand Temple. Assassin's Creed 3 starts with Desmond, Rebecca, William, and Sean finding the Grand Temple in a cave in New York. Desmond uses Ezio's apple to activate the equipment in there and finds a timer telling them when the second disaster is going to happen.
The key. You must find the key.
December 21st, 2012. He then suddenly relives some memories of another one of his ancestors, Haytham Kenway. Back in old-timey London, Haytham murders a man named Myko and steals a medallion from him.
Gentlemen, I hold in my hand a key. And if this book is to be believed, it will open the doors of a storehouse built by those who came before.
Haytham and his partners think this medallion will give them access into an Isu storehouse, but even with the key, they don't know where the storehouse is. So Haytham makes his way to Boston. There, he gathers a crew of 5 men. Charles Lee, William Johnson, Thomas Hickey, Benjamin Church, and Jonathan Pitcairn. Since the medallion Haytham has is of the Kanayan Kahaka tribespeople, Haytham kills a slave trader, imprisoning a bunch of them and frees them.
See? I'm freeing you just as I said I would. Now, if you'll allow me to explain.
One of them, a woman that we'll call by her nickname Ezio, because God knows I can't say her real name, says she'll help Haytham find the storehouse if he kills the man that enslaved her people.
Every day, more of my people are lost to men like him.
Then I suggest we put a stop to it.
I would have done it for free, but Haytham tracks him down and kills him. Haytham and Ezio then find the storehouse, which is the Grand Temple. Unfortunately, Haytham's medallion can't open it.
I thought that I held a key that would open something here. I expected more.
But Haytham and Ezio do admit to liking each other, so it's not a total waste. After that, Charles Lee is formally inducted in Haytham's organization, but Haytham's not part of the Assassins, he's actually part of the Templars. Desmond immediately gets out of the Animus and gets into a fight with William. Desmond says he's being used as a pawn, so William smacks him. Dad of the year over there.
Maybe I pushed a little too hard, asked a little too much, but try and remember exactly what's at stake here.
After tensions cool down, Desmond hops back into the Animus. We then switch to Radan Hakadan, who is Haytham and Ezio's son. Rodden Hakkaden is a kid playing with his friend when Charles Lee shows up with some of his associates.
We have questions for your elders. Only tell us where your village is, boy, and you can go.
They knock the boy out, and when he wakes up, he sees that his village is on fire. He tries to save his mom, but it's hopeless. She dies in the fire right before his eyes. After a few years, Rodden Hakkaden is a teenager. A village elder tells him that they're not allowed to leave their settlement because they're guarding the Grand Temple. She then shows him a crystal sphere which activates when he touches it. It allows him to talk with Juno.
You, who will bring to him the last piece, that he may open the door.
I do not understand.
Juno tells Rodden Hakkaden that he needs to leave the village. If he doesn't, everyone will be slaughtered and killed. Juno tells him that he must find an old assassin named Achilles Davenport and convince Achilles to train him. Rodden Hakkaden finds Achilles. The old man doesn't want to train him at first, but after he saves him from some bandits, Achilles fills him in on the whole Templar assassin thing and takes him on as a student.
This is why the Assassins have dedicated themselves to the pursuit of the Templars. Because if they succeed, your spirit's visions will become reality.
Rodden Hakkaden takes on the name Connor, which is much easier for simpletons like me to pronounce properly. Connor and Achilles then head to Boston to collect supplies. There, Connor tries to stop the Templars from doing some evil. Unfortunately, he fails. The Templars set up the Boston Massacre, and Hathan frames Connor for it. Another challenger for Dad of the Year. Luckily, a man named Samuel Adams meets Connor and helps him clear his name. After that, Achilles gives Connor a ship called the Aquila, which he can use to patrol the Eastern American seaboard. As Connor learns how to become an assassin, he travels to Boston, New York, and a large open area called the Frontier. After officially joining the Brotherhood, Connor decides to eliminate the colonial Templars. William Johnson tries to buy the land Connor's people live on, so he's first on the list, and John Pitcairn is a leader of some British forces, so Connor slimes him next.
I would have succeeded had you let me play my part.
Part of the puppeteer.
For better we hold the strings on another.
No, the strings should be severed. All should be free.
In between these animus sessions, Desmond leaves to find power cells for the Grand Temple in places all over the world. During one of these missions, he comes across the sadistic Daniel Cross, a Templar double agent who once infiltrated the assassin ranks. He was responsible for the death of a lot of modern-day assassins. Connor learns that Thomas Hickey is planning on assassinating George Washington. Connor goes to New York to stop him, and they both get thrown into prison.
Listen, there are more important things at stake here. This man is planning to...
Hatham and the Templars free Hickey, and Connor gets framed again. Luckily, Achilles and the assassin save him from being executed. Connor then finds Hickey and kills him.
What purpose would Washington's murder have served? Why does your order support the British?
I has the money. I has the power.
But Connor thinks that Hatham and his boys are still after Washington, so he meets Washington himself. Washington tells Connor that Benjamin Church stole some vital goods from the Continental Army and is on the run, so Connor goes after Church and meets Hatham. Turns out, Church betrayed the Templars too, so Hatham and Connor put their differences aside and work together.
Perhaps some time together might do us good. Do you even know where Benjamin Church has gone?
I'm afraid not.
Hatham and Connor head off to find Church. It's a long journey, and they actually get some father-son bonding time in. They eventually find Church and kill him, and then spend some time working together. They then go back to meet Washington together. Looks like they're getting along. Unfortunately, Washington has decided to remove all the indigenous tribes from the land, including Connor's people.
We've been receiving reports of allied natives working with the British. I've asked my men to put a stop to it.
By burning their villages and salting the land, by calling for their extermination, according to this letter.
So Connor cuts Washington and Hatham off and leaves to protect his real family. Connor returns and sees that his people are safe, but the clan mother sent some troops to fight the Continental troops, which probably won't go well for them. Connor goes and saves them, but his best friend has had his mind corrupted by Charles Lee. He attacks Connor, and Connor's no choice but to kill his own best friend. Meanwhile, William goes after another power cell in Cairo, while Desmond is animus maxing. Unfortunately, William gets captured by Abstergo and placed in the Roman facility, the same one Desmond was trapped in. Warren Vidict wants the apple in exchange for William. But Desmond isn't a quitter. He infiltrates the lab, where he comes face to face with Daniel again. Turns out, Daniel was raised in an animus and suffers a bleeding effect right then and there.
Get out! Get out! Get out!
Daniel tries to run away, but Desmond kills him. He then uses the apple to kill Vidic and his guards before taking William back to safety. Back inside the Animus, Connor is now super conflicted. He wants to give his dad a chance to join him before killing him.
You have not come this far to throw it all away over misplaced sentiment. Both men must die.
Achilles.
There is nothing more to discuss.
Connor goes after Lee, but is ambushed by Hatham. Hatham says Lee has escaped with the medallion and fights Connor. Connor wants his dad to join him, but Hatham is way too Templar-pilled. Connor realizes there's no way that he can save his dad, so he kills Hatham.
I'm proud of you in a way. You've shown great conviction, strength, courage.
Well, at least Hatham said he was proud of Connor. Connor finds out Lee's location and chases him in an epic scene through a fiery ship. Unfortunately, both Connor and Lee fall, and Connor gets impaled. Connor then shoots Lee, but the bastard survives. Connor chases Lee into a nearby bar, and they share a drink before Connor kills him for good. Connor then takes the medallion and 6 months later heads back home. He arrives to see his people have moved, but they left the crystal sphere for him to find. Juno tells Connor to hide the medallion somewhere no one can find it. So, Connor hides it in the grave of Achilles' son, who also happened to be named Connor. So Desmond goes and grabs the medallion and fully accesses the temple. There, he finds Juno's apparition again, and they talk about the Isu and the Great Catastrophe. In between, Desmond then reveals that he was the one who decided to kill Lucy. After all, the apple told him that she was going to betray them and take it to Abstergo. Juno then tells Desmond to activate a pedestal, which is an ancient Isu machine, and save the world. This is when Minerva shows up and tells him that Juno is an evil bastard. Wow, what a shocker.
While we worked to save the world, she sought instead to conquer it. She used our machines to set her plans in motion.
Turns out Juno was sealed during the war between humanity and the Isu because she was going to use this machine to end the world. If Desmond decides to save the world, he'll die and Juno will be set free. But if he doesn't, only a small portion of humanity will survive.
Whatever Juno's planning, however terrible it might seem today, we'll find a way to stop it. But the alternative, what you want, there's no hope there.
Desmond decides that humanity can handle Juno and sacrifices his life to save the world, setting Juno free. R.I.P. Desmond. We'll miss you, man. Okay, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Not only my favorite Assassin's Creed game, but one of my favorite games of all time. With Desmond gone and the world saved, you'd think that Abstergo would calm down now. After all, they wanted to stop the catastrophe, and it's exactly what Desmond did. But while the devil works hard, Abstergo works much, much harder. With DNA they collected from Desmond's dead corpse, Abstergo Entertainment develops the Sample 17 project.
Thanks to the cloud database and the work of Abstergo Sample Recovery Unit 3, the legacy of Subject 17 will continue uninhibited as Sample 17.
It's simple, really. Exploring the memories of Desmond's ancestors for Animus projects and movies. What a bunch of... They pick Edward Kenway, a British pirate who ended up as an assassin. We then see Edward Kenway on a pirate ship when it's attacked. Good old Ed falls into the water and has a dream about his wife. He promised her he'd only be a pirate for a couple of years and come back with enough money to give them a good life. That's not going so well.
I want food that don't make me sick. I want walls that hold back the wind. I want a decent life.
Anyway, Ed survives the attack and is stranded on an island with an assassin named Duncan Walpole. Edward chases him down and kills him. Pretty grim start, I know. Ed then sees a letter from the governor of Cuba promising Walpole a reward for some maps that he has. So, Ed puts on Walpole's gear, takes the maps, and makes his way to a ship being invaded by British soldiers. Ed kills the soldiers and rescues a merchant named Stede Bonnet.
I'm on a secret errand for His Majesty the King, and I must get to Havana with speed.
Ed then joins Stede and travels to Havana. There, Edward meets the governor while posing as Walpole. He wants that reward. Instead, he learns about the Templars and about a place called the Observatory. It can locate and monitor anybody on Earth. You do need the blood of a sage to enter the observatory though, whatever that means. With that, Ed is officially inducted as a Templar. So much for being a pirate, you are suddenly something far worse. The next day, Edward meets the Templars at the docks and is tasked with escorting a sage named Bartholomew Roberts to the governor's mansion. He's attacked by some assassins on the way there, but he takes them down and delivers the sage to the governor.
Well done, lapdog.
Quiet!
Unfortunately, the payment isn't as much as Ed would have liked. So after a chat with Stede, Ed decides to free the sage and find out more about the observatory. Instead, He gets knocked out and locked up with the other prisoners. He wakes up to see himself in chains with another prisoner named Adewale. Ed and Adewale then break free the other prisoners, and take over his ship.
I'm Edward. Much thanks for your aid back then.
Adewale.
Ed names this ship the Jackdaw. I love the Jackdaw. And he makes Adewale his quartermaster. Let's go. They head for Nassau, where they assemble a crew. Ed then meets Edward Thatch and Benjamin Hornigold, who teach him how to plunder ships.
A ship so full of gold and silver, you just split it and sail home.
Sure.
He then meets a man named James Kidd and plans to rob a plantation. With preparations done, Ed raids the island, kills the Templar in charge, and takes the island for himself. Back in the present, the analyst exploring Ed's memories is enlisted by IT head John Standish to hack computers and Animus devices around Abstergo to get information for Rebecca Crane and Sean Hastings.
Did you know that Abstergo was run by Templars? Oh yeah. I'm curious about this shareholders meeting though.
Back in the Animus, Edward sets out for Tulum, hoping to find James Kidd. There, the mentor of the assassins, Tabai, is mad at Ed for killing assassins all over the place. But when Kidd confirms that Ed has the Eagle Vision, Tabai sends Ed and Kidd to a Mayan ruin to confirm if the sage really is a sage.
Did the Templars say why they wanted this sage?
They drew some of his blood into this small glass cube.
After confirming that Roberts is in fact a reincarnated Isu, Edward and Kidd find the assassins and the Jackdaw being held hostage by some slave traders. This is all thanks to the maps that Ed sold to the Templars. Ed helps free them, and Tabai forgives him for the dead assassins in Havana. But Ed is still not welcome with the assassins. So, Ed decides to tail the governor to find the sage.
He lives in Kingston. This gold is his ransom.
We like this story, Torres, and we want to help you finish it. But we're going to do it our way, using you and your gold.
He and his crew break into the governor's place and get info on the sage. He follows the sage to Kingston, where he finds Kidd trying to assassinate both the governor and a man named Lawrence Prince. He stops Kidd, but after a conversation decides to help Kidd kill Lawrence. Kidd then reveals that he's actually a woman named Mary Reed.
Mary Reed to my mum, but not a word of it to anyone. Or I'll unman you as well.
Ed then kills Lawrence, but the sage manages to use Mary as bait and escape. Back in Nassau, the Royal Navy shows up and offers the king's pardon to all the pirates. The deal is simple. Give up piracy, live as lawful citizens, and you will be left alone. Unfortunately, the Navy plans to burn all the pirate ships regardless of what the pirates say. So, while Hornigold and his men accept the pardon, Edward teams up with Charles Vane and assassinates the Commodore in charge of burning their ships. They then blow up the Royal Navy's brigade and escape. Ed then sails north and meets Thatch, only for Thatch to be killed by the Royal Navy. Ed barely escapes and learns that the sage is on a ship called the Princess. So Ed and Charles try to find more info on the princess. Unfortunately, they get betrayed by Jack Rackham.
See, the boys and I had a bit of counsel, and, well, they figured I'd be a fitter captain than you reckless dogs.
The crew of the Jackdaw abandons them, takes Adewale prisoner, and leaves the pirates stranded on a burning ship. They make it to a deserted island, and Charles loses his goddamn mind. He steals food from Ed, treats him like a threat, and even tries to kill him. So Ed low-key murders him and escapes on another ship. You know, Ed is kind of an... After getting his ship and crew back, Mary offers Ed a chance to join her and the assassins in his search for the sage.
I've heard the sage is sailing out of Kingston on a ship called the Princess.
Put your ambition to better use, Kenway. Find the sage with us.
I've no stomach for you and your mystics, Mary. I want a taste of the good life.
But Ed actually refuses. He goes to Kingston to find out more about the sage alone. He finds Hornigold and learns that the sage is on the island of Principe, so he heads there and kills some Portuguese pirates. Turns out that was the key to gaining the sage's trust. The sage then asks Ed to help him steal some blood vials from a Portuguese fleet. After they do that, he promises Ed a chance to enter the observatory.
Folks say you're the only man that can find it.
Folks are correct. I have no secrets to share with you now. But if you'll lend me your aid, you'll get some answers, I promise you.
The sage then tells Ed to assassinate Hornigold, and he obliges. Ed is planning to sell the observatory, but Adewale says he should tell the assassins about it. Ed refuses and immediately regrets it, because as soon as he gets to the observatory, the sage betrays him and traps him in Port Royal.
You played your role, but our partnership is done! You're a dead man, Roberts!
Back in the real world, The hacking thing is discovered when the CCO of the company goes missing. His replacement, Melanie LeMay, decides to trap the analyst and a bunch of other employees in a bunker until they can find the hacker. Lucky for the analyst, John Standish frees them and tells them to hack the main server and cover their tracks. What the analyst doesn't know is that John is using him, Abstergo, and the assassins for his own interest. You see, John is a modern-day sage. He's the reincarnation of an Isu named Aita, and John only has one true goal: reviving Juno. He does this whole thing to revive Juno, but it actually fails. Juno's consciousness gets uploaded, but she doesn't take over our body, and John is so mad about it. Back in the memories, Ed is a prisoner at the trial of Mary and Anne Bonny. Turns out being a pirate is punishable by death.
You, Mary Reed and Anne Bonny, are to go from hence to the place of execution, where you shall be severally hanged by the neck.
We're pregnant!
They're both pregnant though, so their executions are postponed. 4 months after the trial, Ed is still locked up when Atabai frees him. He gives Ed his gear back, and he asks for his help to free Mary and Anne. They do just that, but childbirth took a toll on Mary. She dies. After falling into a depression, Ed sets sail for Tulum to meet the assassins. After he helps them with a Spanish invasion, he gains their trust and officially joins them. After that, Ed tracks down the sage and kills him.
But perhaps I was wrong about you. She might have had some use for you after all.
She? Of whom do you speak?
Oh, she who lies in wait.
He then figures out that the governor is heading towards the observatory. They then head to the observatory. Edwards finally kills the governor and resets the observatory. That's when Ed gets a letter. Remember, Ed had a wife waiting for him back home, but she died, leaving his daughter Jennifer all alone. Meanwhile, in the real world, John Standish enters the bunker and poisons the analyst, hoping to make them the vessel for Juno's resurrection. But John is killed by Abstergo security, and the analyst wakes up in Melanie's office. After having their name cleared, they get back to work. Back in the past, Edward gives up piracy and meets his daughter Jennifer for the first time. He then sails back to England. After that, Ed remarried and had a son named Hatham Kenway, which ties us directly into Assassin's Creed 3. Can I just say the ending of this game was so good. Like having your daughter next to you that you didn't even know you had as you're steering your ship, and you're just replaying the whole game in your head and how far you've come as a person, as Edward. So good. Assassin's Creed Rogue starts in 2014. We follow an unnamed character who's working at Abstergo Entertainment. They're investigating the memories of an assassin named Shay Cormac when they trip a hidden memory file. The file corrupts the Abstergo servers, and the building is put into lockdown. Melanie LeMay then tells the player to continue exploring Cormac's memories.
I know you must have questions about your new assignment, or about me. All I will say is that Shay's story contains the answers.
Shay's the newbie in the Colonial Brotherhood of Assassins, and he's working under an assassin named Achilles Davenport. Shay is super talented, but he's kind of a loose cannon, which means he's stuck as a Tier 2 assassin. Achilles thinks that he can do more though, so he sends Cormac to take down some Templars.
Whoever controls the artifacts can access precursor sites of power. We must recover them.
Apparently, the Templars are using an artifact that they stole from the Assassins to track down Pieces of Eden. So, with the help of his best friend Liam, Shay sets out to get the artifact back. After he gets back, as well as the manuscript needed to use it, Shay gets some help from Benjamin Franklin, and they locate a piece of Eden in Lisbon.
You understand what must be done?
Find the precursor temple and retrieve the piece of Eden.
But Shay has started to doubt the Assassins. Like, why don't they just talk with the Templars? Still, he goes to get the piece of Eden from Lisbon. But as he does this, it crumbles to dust in his hands. Suddenly, an earthquake is triggered that destroys the entire city. Shay knows the Assassins knew that this would happen.
How could God do this to them? God had nothing to do with this.
So when he goes back, he confronts them about it. But the superiors aren't exactly in the mood for a chit-chat. So Shay steals the manuscript and then makes a run for it. A chase follows, and Shay ends up at the edge of a cliff.
How those souls lost! One more hardly matters.
He decides to jump and gets shot in the back by Louis Joseph Gaultier. Shay survives by the good grace of plot armor and thinks it was his best friend Liam that shot him. Shay is then rescued by a passing ship, which takes him to New York City. There, he chills and takes out the city's criminals. New York's governor, Colonel George Monroe, appreciates the good work that he's doing and asks Shay to help him rebuild the city. Shay agrees, and after some of that action, he helps the British Army against the French.
Perhaps you could get a friend of mine out of trouble.
There, he comes face to face with fellow assassin La Chasseur and has to take him down. After some more side questing, after that, Monroe drops a bombshell. Turns out that he's a Templar. He knows Shay's an assassin, but offers him a spot in the order anyway.
If it were up to me, I would have made you an official Templar months ago.
They then attack Fort William Henry. They fight a bunch of assassins, including Liam and one of Shay's old mentors, Kesagoase. Shay kills Kesagoase, but Liam kills Monroe. After that, Shay officially joins the Templars under the authority of Grandmaster Haytham Kenway. Wow, an Assassin's Creed 3 tie-in.
You are now a Templar, harbinger of a new world.
Shay tells the Templars what he believes. He thinks that the Pieces of Eden are structures that hold the world together, not weapons, and he swears to stop the assassins from getting their hands on them and destroying the world. Shay proceeds to kill some assassins and assassin-affiliated people, including Adewale from AC Black Flag. He then kills an old friend, Hope Jensen, the head of New York Assassins.
I didn't want to do this.
I trained you to do this. Soon Chevalier will be on his way to the precursor site.
I will stop him.
After that, Shay tracks down Louis-Joseph Gaultier. He finds out where Liam and Achilles are headed next, the Arctic, for another piece of Eden. So Shay and Haytham haul ass to the Arctic, where they confront Liam and Achilles.
You betrayed the Brotherhood, Achilles and me, says the man who shot me in the back.
Achilles accidentally triggers another earthquake and the Templars fight the assassins. Achilles and Haytham's fight takes them outside, while Liam and Shay fight inside. Liam gets seriously injured in the fight, and with his last breath, he questions if Shay will ever get what he wants. Shay then goes outside and begs Haytham to spare Achilles. Haytham agrees, but shoots Achilles in the knee anyway.
Never forget what has happened here.
I won't.
The Colonial Assassin Brotherhood is basically cooked, so Shay heads out to look for the artifact that finds the Pieces of Eden. It takes him 20 years, but he eventually finds it in the Palace of Versailles. He kills an assassin named Charles Dorian for it, and says that while the Templars are down for now, they're far from finished.
Connor and his assassins. The American Revolution undid your Templar business.
Then perhaps we shall start a revolution of our own.
Back in the modern day, the player exits the Animus. Master Templar Johanni Otto Berg then has Shay's memories uploaded to the Assassin Network, and it really screws with him. The player then has a choice: join the Templars or die. The game ends before he chooses. So
I guess we'll never know.
Okay, at some point, Abstergo takes the Animus technology and repackages it as the Helix, selling it to public audiences. In 2014, a regular Helix user decides to explore the memories of a Templar. He's having a pretty swell time when he's suddenly interrupted by an assassin named Bishop. She explains that the user is being used by Abstergo and has them go through Arno Dorian's memories instead. Kinda convoluted, but stay with me. In 7076 AD, an 8-year-old Arno is chilling on a business trip with his dad, Charles Dorian, in the Palace of Versailles. But as we saw in Assassin's Creed Rogue, this doesn't end well.
And Arno, no exploring,
Arno sees a girl running away and follows her. He then steals an apple for the girl, who introduces herself as Elise de la Sueur. When Arno goes back, he sees that his father, Charles Dorian, has been killed by Shay. He's then taken in by Templar Grand Master Francois de la Sueur, Elise's father. Fast forward 13 years, and Arno makes his way back to the de la Sueur estate after stealing back his dad's watch. That's when de la Sueur leaves in a carriage. He then finds out there's a party at the Palace of Versailles and that Elise is going to be there. So he just leaves the letter in de la Sueur's office and goes to the party. After sharing a romantic moment, Arno and Elise are interrupted by a guard.
Go, I'll distract them.
What? You're kicking me out?
It's complicated. I'll explain later, but for now, out the window.
She tells Arno to leave, and he does, only to see de la Sueur die in front of him. A man named Charles Gabriel Sievert suddenly shows up and frames Arno for the murder.
He's killed Lord de la Sueur.
He then gets locked up in the Bastille. Now in prison, Arno sees one of the men has his father's watch. Arno tries to take it back. Instead, he gives Arno a wooden training sword, and they duel. Arno then says he sees weird symbols on the wall. The prisoner says, "That's eagle vision," and realizes that Arno is the son of an assassin. He introduces himself as Pierre Bellic, and tells Arno that his dad was an assassin as well. He gives Arno Charles's watch back, before offering to train him. 2 months later, the two are still training when the Bastille is attacked by revolutionaries.
Sometimes opportunity sounds a lot like cannon fire.
Secure the prisoners!
Follow the lead.
Bellic and Arno use this opportunity to escape, and that's when the game really begins. He then goes back home looking for Elise, but she thinks he's responsible for his dad's death. Elise then gives him the letter he was supposed to give her father 13 years ago, which was a warning about somebody inside the Templar Order betraying him. Elise is a Templar herself, and blames Arno for not getting the letter to her dad in time.
I didn't know.
Neither did my father.
How could I have known?
Just go.
She then tells him to leave. So Arno decides to look for the Assassin Brotherhood. After finding Bellic and meeting the Assassin Council, he officially joins them. Back in the real world, Bishop shows up and offers the user a chance to join the Assassins. They accept, and Bishop explains that the Templars are using him to find sages in the past and the present. Arno met a sage at some point in his life, so they need to use his memories to find the sage's remains before Abstergo does. So the user hops back into the Helix. Back in the past, Arno meets Bellic for his final exercise. He then learns that Sievert, the man that framed him for the De La Sure's murder, is going to be in Notre Dame the next day. So Arno disguises himself as Sievert's accomplice, and after getting the info that he needed, kills Sievert. He then discovers who was helping Sievert that night, a man named Roya de Thun, the king of beggars. Sievert tells the assassins what's up, so they give him the Phantom Blade and tell him to kill de Thun. Arno investigates and sees that Thun's lieutenant, Alois Latouche, doing some crazy evil. He's about to intervene, but Donation Alphonse Francois Marquis de Sade, Jesus Christ, these names feel like a run-on sentence. Anyway, this guy stops him. He says Arno should follow Latouche instead. It'll make Thun easier to find.
You can disappear into the swarm and follow the rats back to their king.
So Arno does that, traps Latouche, and finds out where Roya de Thun is staying. Arno then finds and kills Roya de Thun, and de Sade takes over his position as King of Beggars. He then tells Arno that a silversmith named Francois Thomas Germain made the pin that killed de La Sure. So the council sends Arno to find Germain. Arno finds him, but turns out that Germain isn't actually a bad guy. In fact, he's been held here against his will for months.
What have I done?
Only what you had to. Come, we must go.
So Arno takes him to safety, and Germain tells him that he made the pin for a man named Lafreniere. So Arno finds him, smokes him out, and kills him. Through his memories, Arno sees that Lafreniere was going to attack the Hotel de Beve. Arno tells all of this to the council, who aren't exactly thrilled that he killed Lafreniere without their permission. Still, they send him to the hotel for his next mission. There, he spies on some Templars and finds out that they're going to attack Elise. So Arno saves her from their ambush and tells her to meet him at a cafe. At the cafe, Arno convinces her to team up with the Brotherhood to find her father's killer.
The Brotherhood has resources, manpower.
You cannot be serious.
Do you trust me?
So Elise meets them, but they can't come to an agreement. Meanwhile, the senior assassin that Arno has been taking orders from so far, Mirabeau, shows up and talks to the council. Arno tells Elise about Germain, and she drops a bombshell. Germain used to be a Templar. In fact, he was exiled from the Templars because he was too radical. They investigate his house and find out he was the one who had De La Sure killed. They go to tell Mirabeau, only to find him dead. What's more, it's clear that an assassin killed him. And then they find out that it was Bellic who killed him. Basically, Bellic thinks that the Assassins and Templars will never achieve peace with each other, and he wants to purge the Brotherhood to make it stronger.
Masyaf, Monteriggioni, the American colonies. It's all happened before, and we have risen anew, stronger than ever.
He gives Arno the offer to join him, but Arno refuses, and they have a pretty epic fight. Arno then has to kill his mentor, even though it breaks his heart. The council then gives Arno his next assignment and tells him to lay off Germain. Mirabeau was in contact with the king, so Arno has to find the letters Mirabeau sent to the king before they're made public. It would ruin the assassins. He goes there, and while he does that, he meets Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon helps him escape, and a few days later, they track down Captain Rui. Rui was assassinating prisoners, so Arno tracks him down and kills him. He then looks through Rui's memories and finds out that the Templars want to starve France and cause riots, led by a woman named Marie.
Our agents are in place to divert the shipments to our docks. They await only your command.
Good.
Later, Arno meets Elise and tells her Marie's plan. He then finds out that Marie is going to be at Luxembourg Palace, so he infiltrates it and kills her. He then goes through her memories and sees that the Templars are planning to kill King Louis. Louis Michel Le Peltier is leading that plan, so he's got to go. Elise and Arno then escape in a hot air balloon and share a passionate night together. The next day, they meet Marquis de Sade, who tells them where Le Peltier is going to be. So Arno finds him and kills him. Arno then checks his memories and sees that Germain will be at King Louis's execution. But when they have to split up, Arno doesn't let Elise take on the Grand Master's bodyguards alone. So King Louis dies and Germain gets away.
You were given a golden opportunity to end his life and you refused to take it.
To save your life?
It isn't yours to save.
What are you saying?
Elise is mad and she cuts contact with Arno. It gets worse for Arno, because the council calls him in and expels him for disobeying orders. To be fair, they did tell him to lay off Germain, so Arno goes back home and turns into an alcoholic. He's so relatable. A few months later, Elise shows up again and convinces him to get back into the action. So Arno gears up and finds Latouche still doing executions. Arnaud kills him and finds Germain's final ally in his memories, a man named Maximilien de Robespierre. So Arnaud and Elise make it to Paris and plan to get Germain's location from Robespierre. Unfortunately, he gets hunted down by Arnaud and Elise, who gets Germain's location from him.
The temple. I should have known. I hope you enjoy revolutionary justice, monsieur.
Arnaud and Elise make their way to the temple Germain is hiding in. When they get there, Germain uses the Sword of Eden to blast Arnaud with electricity. Elise then fights Germain, but the sword is unstable now, so it explodes, killing Elise and seriously hurting Germain. Arnaud then slowly assassinates Germain, who explains how hard his life was as a sage.
Perhaps it'll not be my hand that shepherds mankind back to its proper place, but it will be someone's. Think on this when you remember her.
He's the one Bishop has been looking for. Arnaud then leaves Germain's side and carries Elise's body out. Years later, Arnaud and Napoleon return to the temple and bury Germain's corpse in the catacombs of Paris. Bishop is happy, since this means his body is too degraded for Abstergo to get them. All that for nothing? She just thanks the Helix user for their hard work and promises to contact them again? What a waste of time. A year later, Bishop is back and she's hitting up the Helix user for more help. Bishop, Sean, and Rebecca want to find a piece of Eden in London, so who are we following in this game? Well, it's gonna be multiple people. Our MCs are the twins Jacob and Evie Fry. We cut to 1868 AD, where London is totally being run by Templars led by Crawford Starrick. Back then, controlling London basically meant controlling the world, and the Assassins want to do something about it. We then cut to the town of Croydon, where Jacob and Evie get their missions from an assassin named Westhouse.
Jacob! Evie! May the creed guide you vagrants!
Jacob heads out to kill Rupert Ferris, while Evie goes after David Brewster. Now, the twins are good at their jobs, but they're also bad at their jobs. Jacob kills Rupert Ferris and crashes a train. Meanwhile, Evie kills Brewster, but the piece of Eden the Templars have frickin' explodes. Westhouse gives them a tough time for this, obviously, but Evie learns something important. The Templars have found a new piece of Eden. Westhouse says the Templars are too strong to take on and tells them to stay put. But you get the twins vibe by now, they're not waiting around. So they disobey the council and go to London. This is when the adventure really begins. In London, the twins meet with a guy called Henry Green, before locking in on what to do. Evie wants to go after the piece of Eden immediately, but Jacob says they need to take down a Templar gang called the Blighters with their own new gang, the Rooks. So the twins partner up with Sergeant Frederick Aberline and Clara O'Dea, kill the Blighter leader, and then take over their hideout in Whitechapel.
Kaylock is dead. Whitechapel is no longer in the hands of the Blighters.
After meeting with the legendary Alexander Graham Bell and helping him get some W's over Starrick, the twins plan their next move. You see, Starrick is using a drug called Starrick Soothing Syrup to keep London's poor people under his control. So with the help of Charles Darwin himself, Jacob blows up the factory making the syrup and kills the person who created it. Back with Evie after stealing a book with the help of Jacob, she starts looking for the piece of Eden. Her search takes her and Henry to the Kenway mansion, where they find out that Edward Kenway found a Shroud of Eden which has super healing powers.
A hidden key. This is it.
They also get clues on its location. Meanwhile, Jacob tries to work smarter. He wants to end Starrick's monopoly on London's transport. To do this, Jacob allies himself with Pearl Attaway, Starrick's main competitor in the transportation game. Pearl has Jacob blow up steal some engines from the Starrick-backed Milner company before killing Milner himself. Unfortunately, Jacob's been duped. Turns out Pearl's actually a Templar and Starrick's cousin.
I want you at Waterloo, personally, to ensure that nothing goes wrong.
Of course. May the Father of Understanding guide us.
And has been working with him this whole time. So Jacob kills Pearl. Meanwhile, Starrick is mad that his cousin died and sends even more Templars into London. Meanwhile, Clara falls sick. So Evie helps out Florence Nightingale, sets up better medical care for Clara and everybody else. After that, she looks for the Shroud of Eden and finds the key to the vault it's in. Unfortunately, she loses it to another Templar named Lucy Thorne. But Evie won't give up. She's gonna get that key back. While Evie does that, a man named Aberline tells Jacob about a robbery taking place in the Bank of England. Jacob finds that the man behind it is Philip Twopenny and kills him before the robbery. Meanwhile, Evie helps Edward Bailey and his associates from the London General Omnibus Company, finally ending the Blighters' control on transport. After boosting the economy, Evie tracks down Lucy Thorne, kills her, and gets the vault key back from her. Evie is low-key cooking more than Jacob.
So, you have murdered me after all. But what good will that do you?
Speaking of Jacob, he finds out that the Templars want to assassinate the Prime Minister, Benjamin Disraeli, and since Jacob is the one doing the assassinating around here, he saves Benjamin and his wife Marianne. Mary then says the man behind this attempt was the Earl of Cardigan. Jacob then kills the Earl of Cardigan, and Stark's influence takes yet another hit. Meanwhile, counterfeiters have stolen printing plates from the Bank of England, and that is not good for the economy. So, Evie and Aberline get the plates back and give them to the bank. After that, Henry and Evie try to get the plans for the vault the shroud is in, but even Evie can't succeed at everything she does. Jacob then gets an invitation from the leader of the Blighters, Maxwell Roth. Max is tired of getting his ass handed to him by Jacob and Evie, so he offers to team up with them and go against Starrick.
Let's say we work together and bring him down.
I'm not so sure about that.
Evie hates this idea, but Jacob goes with it. Together, he and Max begin ruining Starrick's operations in London. But when Max tries to destroy a warehouse with children inside of it, Jacob realizes that he's a loose cannon. Why don't you just listen to your sister, man? I just kind of feel like she's better at everything in this game. I prefer to play as her. Anyway, Max then invites Jacob to a performance at Alhambra Music Hall, and Jacob decides to kill him. But Max sets the whole place on fire to kill Jacob. Fortunately, Jacob is a badass, and he kills Max before escaping. This is the last straw for Starrick. He's gonna handle Jacob and Evie right now.
London must be reborn.
Speaking of the twins, they argue over each other's methods, and I don't know about you, I'm always gonna side with Evie here, man. Jacob's kind of a loose cannon. I mean, he did work with not one, but two evil people. Still, they agree to kill Starrick and get the shroud in one last mission together. But they're gonna split up after that. So Jacob gets some invitations for the Queen's Ball at Buckingham Palace, where the shroud is hidden in a vault. Once inside, Evie finds out where she can find the plans to the Buckingham Palace vault. So Jacob and Evie make their way into the palace, but things don't go according to plan.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Evie loses her key to Starrick when he forces her to dance with him, so she tells Jacob to find the vault. Jacob does this, and tries to attack him, but Starrick is wearing the shroud. Makes him unstoppable. Evie joins the fight, but faces the same problem. Henry arrives to help out too, but it's completely useless. They need to get the shroud off of him. So the twins team up and manage to get the shroud off Starrick and finally kill him. The twins now stop hating each other, and they even get knighted by Queen Victoria.
I invest you all in the Order of the Sacred Garter.
With the memory completed, Sean, Rebecca, and an assassin named Galena Varanina go for the shroud. Unfortunately, the Templars are there too, and a fight breaks out. And the Templars actually manage to get the shroud and escape with it. Damn.
Forget the bloody shroud. Stay with me, Bex.
Still, Bishop is confident that they'll get the shroud back. The game ends with us seeing what Abstergo wants with the shroud. They want to create an issue of their own. Surprise, surprise, Juno's got a hand in this too. This evil son of a just won't go away. Now for the earliest game in the franchise, chronologically. We're heading to ancient Greece. Our chronological journey kicks off in 480 BCE. The very jacked and very angry King Leonidas I of Sparta is leading the defense against the invading Persian army of the bald scumbag Xerxes I, in what is now known as the Battle of Thermopylae. Leonidas and his army of savage Spartans are hoping to hold the invaders off at a narrow passageway to stop them from getting to Greece. And if that sounds familiar, it's because it's literally the ending of Zack Snyder's 300. Leonidas knows that he's a goner, so he and his troops decide to go down swinging. During the fight, Leonidas kills the Persian commander, securing a temporary victory. However, he's then informed by a captured Persian soldier that Xerxes knows another way into Greece and is preparing another attack. So Leonidas offs the Persian soldier and prepares the upcoming battle, and it's gonna be a doozy. In the present day, we meet the super enthusiastic Layla Hassan. She finds Leonidas' buried spear based on information in a book by ancient Greek historian Herodotus. They're searching for the staff of Hermes Trismegistus. Layla is heading an assassin cell consisting of Victoria Bebo, Kiyoshi Takakura, and Alana Ryan, operating out of a safe house in London, which they think is in the lost city of Atlantis, which just sounds insane to me. Anyway, Layla extracts a DNA sample from Leonidas' spear and enters the Animus to relive the memories of one of his grandchildren. You can pick Alexios or Cassandra. I like Alexios more, but Cassandra is the canon protagonist, so we're gonna go with her. You see, all the way back in 431 BCE, at the start of the Peloponnesian War, Cassandra was a mercenary living on the island of Kephallonia. One day, after whooping some thugs working for a local crime lord known as the Cyclops, Cassandra's friend, Phoebe, tells her that Marcos has borrowed money from the Cyclops to buy a vineyard. Marcos took Cassandra in when she was a little girl, and since Marcos has no way of paying back the crime lord, Cassandra reluctantly agrees to help.
If he insists on sending his goons after us, we'll make sure his last good day was yesterday.
After that, Cassandra learns about a group of bandits who recently arrived in Kefalonia and investigates. She discovers that the bandits are working for a man named Elpenor. After Elpenor tests Cassandra to see if she's worthy, he hires Cassandra to assassinate a Spartan general known as the Wolf of Sparta in Megaris.
He'd do something to offend you?
Yes, he's costing me drachmi.
Cassandra takes on the task, but she needs a ship to leave Kefalonia. So Cassandra decides to steal the Cyclops' ship and kill him. 2 birds with 1 stone. She also rescues a naval captain named Barnabas, who gives her command of his ship, the Adrestia. So goodbye, Phoebe and Marcos. Cassandra is off to Megaris. Before they leave, Barnabas says that the Wolf of Sparta is named Nikolaos, who just happens to be Cassandra's father. We then see Cassandra's backstory. You see, years ago, she had a little sister named Alexios. But shortly after Alexios was born, she was condemned to death thanks to a prophecy delivered by the Pythia. So Cassandra and her family were forced to watch Alexios be sacrificed at Mount Taygetos. Cassandra tried to stop it and accidentally pushed a Spartan elder off the mountain. She was sentenced to death for this.
Pay for her dishonor, for the life she has snuffed. She is not Spartan, Nikolaos.
Don't listen!
And Nikolaos had to drop his own daughter off the mountain. But Cassandra survived. She then met and took in the eagle Icaros, escaped Sparta, and sailed to Kefalonia, where she was found and taken in by Marcos. Cassandra needs to confront her father, and so they make their way to Megaris. And that's when the game really begins. After making it to Megaris, Cassandra meets Stentor, Nikolaos' adopted son. Cassandra decides to help the Spartans conquer the region because it'll bring her closer to Nikolaos. After doing a bunch of stuff to weaken Athens' control over Megaris, Cassandra joins the Spartan army and fights the Athenians. Following their victory, Nikolaos meets with Cassandra and he apologizes.
There's a large reward for the mercenary that can collect the wolf's head.
Cassandra is then left to decide whether she kills Nikolaos or lets him live. But regardless of what you choose, Nikolaos drops a bombshell. He's not Cassandra's biological father at all. Nikolaos tells Cassandra to find her mother, Mirene, for more answers. So Cassandra sells to Phokis to meet Elpenor for her payment. But Elpenor asks Cassandra to kill her mother Mirene next, and that's something Cassandra just can't sign up for. So after whooping Elpenor's guards, she goes to the Pythia for answers. The Pythia knows who she is, and warns her about the cult of Cosmos, which is targeting her family for some reason. She also meets Herodotus at the Sanctuary of Delphi and learns that a cult is influencing the Pythia. So Cassandra takes out Elpenor, who is also a member of this cult, and wears his cultist robes to infiltrate a cult meeting. There, she discovers that the cult is behind the Peloponnesian War and is in possession of a strange pyramid. She also learns that Alexios, now known as Deimos, is still alive, but has been brainwashed to serve the cult.
Elpenor is dead. One of you is a traitor.
After Alexios helps her escape, Herodotus convinces Cassandra to warn the leader of Athens, Pericles, about the cult, and tells her about a mysterious vault on Andros Island. Investigating the vault, which is Isu tech by the way, Cassandra discovers she can upgrade the Spear of Leonidas using some pyramid shards that she took from the cult. There, she also has a brief run-in with Deimos. Cassandra wants to reunite her family, but Deimos tells her to stay out of the cult's way.
Oh, you think friendship is the answer? Running around like lost children looking for dear mater. You're so weak.
It's responsibility, not weakness.
In Athens, Cassandra has to earn Pericles' trust by doing 3 tasks. She also meets Phoebe there, who snuck her way into Athens and became the assistant of Pericles' gorgeous partner, Aspasia. She then warns the Pericles about the cult and finds 3 possible leads to help her locate her mother, Mirene. In Argolis, Cassandra meets Hippocrates. He directs Cassandra to the Asclepios temple, where Mirene took Alexios after a fall from the mountain. Cassandra learns that the priestess Chryses tricked Mirene into believing Alexios was dead so that she could abduct him for the cult, so Cassandra tracks her down and kills her. Traveling to Corinth, Cassandra meets Enthusa, who agrees to provide information on Mirene in exchange for Cassandra's help in killing a cultist known as the Monger. Working alongside Enthusa and the Spartan general Brasidas, Cassandra eliminates the Monger. After that, she learns that Mirene became a freaking pirate after leaving Corinth.
All I know is she won a ship thanks to a lucky dice throw.
Cassandra then meets the pirate Xenia, who tells her that Mirene sailed with her for a short time under the name Phoenix. Lady was on a crazy side quest. So Cassandra continues her search for Mirene, but it's taken a pretty long time. In 429 BCE, Cassandra returns to Athens during a deadly plague, and things are looking pretty bad. People are dying, Pericles is sick, and Athens is in ruins. And this is when the cult attacks and murders Phoebe. It goes from bad to worse, because Deimos murders Pericles as well. Deimos escapes, and Cassandra knows that she can't catch him right now. So she escapes Athens with Aspasia, and learns that Mirene is ruling Naxos Island. So she sails there, reunites with her mother in a heartbreaking scene.
I was heartbroken when the healers in Asclepios told me Alexios was dead. The two of you were my whole world.
But he did live. They lied to you.
After helping Mirene win a war against the rival Paros Island and killing its cult leader, Cassandra convinces her mother to return to Sparta. Cassandra and Mirene return to Sparta, where they attempt to reclaim their citizenship in their old home. Meeting with Sparta's two kings, Archidamus and Pausanias, they each give Cassandra a task to accomplish in order to earn their favor. In Arcadia, Cassandra helps Mirene and Brasidas to investigate Lagos, the region's leader who is a reluctant member of the cult. So Cassandra offers him a chance to join the good guys, and Lagos happily accepts. He also gives her proof that Pausanias is a cult member. After dealing with Lagos, she travels to Boeotia to help Stentor and the Spartans conquer the region. She does just that, but the growing tensions between Cassandra and Stentor finally boil over. He challenges her to a duel. Luckily, Nikolaos stops them before they hurt each other.
Killing each other will not heal the wounds of the past.
Pater!
Cassandra then returns to Sparta to report her success and exposes Pausanias as a cultist. Archidamos then thanks Cassandra and restores her and Mirene's citizenship and estate. In 425 BCE, Cassandra joins Brasidas at the Battle of Pylos and encounters Deimos, who is fighting for Athens. Both siblings end up unconscious and are taken to Athens, where Cassandra is imprisoned by Cleon, the city's new leader and a member of the cult. But Cassandra escapes and forms the Periclean Circle with her allies. After they successfully sabotage Cleon's popularity with the people, the Athenian leader decides to personally lead his forces against the Spartan army commanded by Brasidas at the Battle of Amphipolaris in 422 BCE. During the battle, Brasidas is killed by Deimos. That's when Cleon hits Deimos with an arrow in the back. So Cassandra gives Cleon the brutal and heartless death that he deserves. Returning to Sparta, Cassandra reunites with Mirene, and together they decide to travel up the mountain where they find Deimos. Depending on her interactions with her brother up until this point, Cassandra either kills Deimos after he tries to murder Mirene, or convinces him to abandon the cult and return to her family. Afterwards, Cassandra organizes a dinner in Sparta with all the surviving members of her family. After eliminating all members of the cult throughout Greece, Cassandra returns to their hideout underneath the sanctuary of Delphi, where she finds the pyramid and receives a vision of the future, showing the conflict between the Assassins and Templars.
We must fix the mistakes of the past. Use the staff. Repair the rift in the universe. The world depends on you, Cassandra.
She also encounters Aspasia, who reveals herself to be the leader of the cult. Aspasia claims that she abandoned it after it fell under Deimos' influence, and she secretly helped Cassandra dismantle the cult. Cassandra's left to decide Aspasia's fate before destroying the pyramid. After that, we're almost at the end here. Cassandra learns from her mom that her biological father is in a place called Thera. Traveling there, Cassandra finds the underground gateway to Atlantis and meets her father, Pythagoras, who tasks her to retrieve 4 artifacts in order to seal off Atlantis. With this information, Layla leaves the Animus, and the team evacuates the hideout just as Abstergo Industries manages to track them down. They then sail to Thera on the Altair II, where Layla gains access to the gateway through an underwater entrance. However, since she can't find anything useful, she returns to the Animus to continue exploring Cassandra's memories. During her travels, Cassandra finds all the artifacts requested by Pythagoras, which have turned their human wielders into hybrid beasts resembling the monsters of Greek mythology. Returning to the gateway with the artifacts, Cassandra helps Pythagoras seal Atlantis before he gives the Staff of Hermes to her.
Choose wisely.
Giving her immortality and dying in her arms. Cassandra then returns to the Adrestia and reflects on her adventures with Barnabas and Herodotus while concealing her newly gained immortality from them. In the present, Layla leaves the Animus and is met by Cassandra, kept alive for thousands of years by the Staff of Hermes. After warning Layla to destroy all the pieces of Eden in order to maintain the balance between order and chaos, Cassandra gives her the staff and says that she's in charge of it now, dying on the spot. Layla then returns to the Animus to synchronize with the rest of Cassandra's memories. In the present day, Layla Hassan is tasked with finding an artifact in Egypt. She instead discovers a tomb containing the ancient mummies of Bayek and Aya. Hoping to find any relevant information that would secure her a position in the company's Animus project, Layla decides to relive Bayek and Aya's genetic memories using her modified Animus without telling her superiors. Her friend and colleague, Diana Geary, protests Layla's decision, but nonetheless agrees to monitor while she's in the Animus. This story begins in 49 BCE. Our MC is Bayek, a man who is protecting the Siwa Oasis as its Medjay, or protector. One day, Bayek is kidnapped along with his son Kemu by 5 masked men. The masked men take Bayek to the Temple of Amun and hand him a golden orb. They want him to use it to open the vault. Bayek swears he has no idea what the vault is, but the masked men don't care.
This is a waste of time! The boy is frightened. It's all right.
Kemu shows up to help his father escape, but Bayek accidentally stabs his son in the struggle. Wow, that's one way to start a game, okay. Fast forward a year, and Bayek is tracking down the 5 masked men. He wants revenge. He finds the first man, Rudjek, the Heron, and kills him. After that, Bayek goes back to Siwa. After taking down Rudjek's bodyguard, he meets his friend, Hebzefa. Hebzefa points him towards his next target, Medunamun, the Ibis. And Bayek bashes his head in with the same golden orb in a really brutal scene. After that, Bayek's next stop is Alexandria to find his wife Aya, who has been looking for the masked men as well. With the help of Aya's cousin Phanos, Bayek finds his wife's hideout and is reunited with her. After they have some private time, Aya tells Bayek that she's killed 2 other masked men, the Vulture and the Ram. Aya's been working with Apollodorus and Cleopatra. Yeah, that Cleopatra, to uncover the snake's true identity. She then gives Bayek what she got from Cleopatra, the very first hidden blade. Kinda cool.
I will go to the palace and discover who uses the seal of the snake. And I will use this.
He then discovers that the royal scribe, Eudoros, is the snake, and Bayek kills him with the hidden blade, accidentally cutting off his own left ring finger. Kinda like how the assassins do in modern times. But Bayek is then warned that the snake is immortal. Which is weird, because I'm pretty sure I just killed him. So he heads to Apollodorus and Cleopatra for answers. Cleopatra tells Bayek and Aya that the snake is actually the name for a group called the Order of the Ancients. Eudoros was actually the hippo, and he was not the last of the masked men. This order removed Cleopatra from her throne and is looking to take over Egypt by using Cleopatra's younger brother, Ptolemy, as their puppet. So Bayek gets 4 new targets from Cleopatra: the scarab, the hyena, the lizard, and the crocodile.
We need decisive action. It is time for assassinations.
Meanwhile, Aya convinces the powerful Roman general, Pompey the Great, to ally with Cleopatra. Bayek then heads to the village of Sais, where one of Apollodorus' informants tells Bayek that a man named Gupa went missing while looking into the scarab. So Bayek saves Gupa, and the poor bastard has had his tongue cut out. Still, Bayek learns that the scarab is in the city of Letopolis, so Bayek heads there and meets Gupa's son-in-law, Taharka. Taharka invites Bayek to dinner and poisons his drink. Yeah, it turns out Taharka is the scarab. He leaves Bayek for dead in the desert, but Bayek is one stubborn bastard. He survives, tracks Taharka down, and kills him in front of his family. Jesus Christ.
This victory will bring you no peace. It is not peace that I seek. It is not for my soul that I walk this path.
After this, Bayek heads to the Great Pyramid. There, he meets the merchant, Mirage, who offers info on the hyena. In exchange for some help, Ubisoft games sure do love their quests, and Bayek does this. Mirage tells him where Khalaset, aka the hyena, is. Bayek goes there and finds out that Khalaset left the Order. Instead, she's doing crazy experiments to bring her dead daughter back to life. Bayek feels her pain, but hey, revenge has gotta revenge, you know? Don't hate the player, hate the fact that I gotta murder your ass, so he kills her too. After that, Bayek goes to Memphis and the whole city is under a curse. This is the work of the lizard. You see, the festival of Apis is coming up, and the lizard wants to turn the population of Memphis against Cleopatra when she visits them for the festival. But with some help from Aya and a high priest, Bayek unmasks the lizard as a priest named Hetepi, and kills him too. Bayek then heads onwards while Aya stays with Cleopatra.
It is agony to leave you, but I must go on alone.
Aya,
I will stand by my duty.
where will your duty take you?
North, to set the sea aflame.
While tracking down the crocodile, Bayek meets Hotefres, a man with a ledger of info on the crocodile. Unfortunately, Hotefres' young and adorable daughter, Shaja, has the ledger, and gets killed by the crocodile's men. Still coping with his own child's death, Bayek is furious. He then learns that some of the crocodile's men are gladiators in Crocodilopolis. So, with the help of his friend Kensa, Bayek fights his way through this arena. He rises to the top, discovers that the crocodile is a woman named Berenike, and kills her, avenging Shaja. Back in the present, Layla and her partner Diana are attacked in different locations by Abstergo's paramilitary task force. Layla uses her skills and her own hidden blade to kill them, but Diana gets cornered and Layla hears a gunshot. So Layla swears to get revenge for her friend and hops back into the Animus to complete the mission. Bayek then learns from Cleopatra that there are 2 more masked men. How many of these evil bastards are there? Bayek gets pissed. When Cleopatra helps him find the name of the man who killed his son, he's all pumped up again. The killer of his son is Septimus. Bayek's 2 next targets are the Scorpion and the Jackal, and they're part of Ptolemy's royal guard. Bayek manages to stop the Jackal from killing Cleopatra, but poor old Pompey isn't that lucky. He bites the dust. So, Aya and Bayek help sneak Cleopatra into the palace to get support from Julius Caesar himself. The plan actually works, so Ptolemy sends his army into Alexandria. But Bayek saves Caesar and kills the Scorpion.
But I just wanted peace for Egypt. Your peace leaves many wanting.
Meanwhile, Bayek finds Septimus, fights him, and is about to kill him when Caesar stops him. Meanwhile, Ptolemy gets eaten by crocodiles. Serves him right. After that, Cleopatra gets the throne, and she and Caesar have Septimus at their side. What the hell? Turns out, Cleopatra betrayed them. The Order is controlling both Caesar and Cleopatra now. She just used them to get in power. So Bayek and his allies get together and make the Brotherhood to protect the common people and stand against the evil elites. Could use one of those in the real world right now. Anyway, Bayek and Aya then head to the tomb of Alexander the Great. The Order is up to something. There, they find Apollodorus, who's in bad shape. He tells them that Caesar's lieutenant, Flavius Metellus, aka the Lion, is leading the Order in Egypt with Septimus helping them out. Turns out Flavius is the one that killed their son. With the Order taking both the orb and Alexander the Great's personal Staff of Eden, Bayek and Aya follow them all the way back to Siwa. There, the Order has used the orb and the staff to open the vault. Inside is a map of the locations of more pieces of Eden.
Who created this? The gods themselves.
Bayek and Aya then see that the Order killed Hepzepha too. Bayek is mad, so he and Aya split up. Bayek tracks down Flavius, who is using the Apple of Eden to control the town. In a moment of pure bliss, Bayek finally kills Flavius, getting revenge for his son. He then goes back to Alexandria with the apple. Back in Alexandria, Aya has recruited Marcus Junius Brutus and Gaius Cassius. They're gonna help her slime the Order. With their son avenged, Bayek and Aya decide it's best to part ways, but where the relationship ends, the foundation for the Hidden Ones begins. They both swear to defend the world from the shadows, and this is where we get the iconic Assassin's Creed logo. Layla then wakes up to see a very important man, William Miles, the mentor of the Assassin's Brotherhood. He's here to recruit Layla, so she agrees to join him and go to Alexandria. Before they leave, Layla finishes Bayek's story in the Animus. Some years later, Aya finds Septimus in Rome. She's here for the staff, but the Order already has it, and Septimus dies at Aya's hands. So, Aya then gets the help of Caesar's besties and kills him. She then tells Cleopatra to get her together or the same thing is going to happen to her.
Then be the ruler our people deserve, or nothing will save you from my blade across your throat.
A year after this, Aya writes to Bayek about establishing a brotherhood of hidden ones in Rome as well. She also changed her name to Amunet, leaving her past behind. Meanwhile, Bayek recruits new people to the brotherhood and dedicates his life to helping the public. Whew, okay. Anybody else getting a little exhausted? Well, I'm sure the next one will be easier. What are we doing? Valhalla! Alright, here we go. There might not be a harder game to cover than Assassin's Creed Valhalla for a lot of reasons, but we're gonna do it. Full disclaimer beforehand, you can choose for the main character to be male or female, but the story doesn't change at all. In the year 2020, the Earth's magnetic field is going through some shenanigans. Layla Hassan, Sean Hastings, and Rebecca Crane go to New England and examine a Viking raider's corpse. Layla's having a hard time controlling the staff of Hermes that Alexios gave her. Still, she gets in the Animus to relive this raider's memories. We go to 855 AD in Norway, where a young Viking named Ivor is enjoying a party with her parents and the rest of the village. That's where the happy stuff ends because the vicious warlord Kjotve the Cruel attacks them, destroys her hometown, and kills her parents. Luckily, Ivor is rescued by Sigurd, who is the son of King Styrbjorn of the Raven clan. Then have a 17-year time skip, and Ivor has been adopted by King Styrbjorn. Ivor is hell-bent on getting revenge, hunts down Kjotve. She fails, but she does get her hands on her father's old axe. When she touches it, she has a vision of the Isu Odin. He asks the local seeress, Valka, for answers, but Valka just shows her a vision of Sigurd dying, which means Ivor is going to betray Sigurd. And the poor girl has even more questions. Meanwhile, Sigurd returns from an expedition with two hidden ones, Hytham and Basim. Because Basim and Hytham want to kill Kjotve too, so he's a member of the Order of the Ancients. Even though Styrbjorn's against it, Ivor and Sigurd get King Harald's help and attack Kjotve. During his fight with Kjotve, Ivor sees visions of Odin, who motivates her to pull through and kill Kjotve. After that, King Harald declares he's gonna rule Norway, and Styrbjorn agrees.
If King Harald brings peace, then I am happy to bend my knee to him. What?
But Sigurd wanted to be king, and he's not happy. So she and Ivor take their loyalists and move to England, making their own settlement called Ravensthorpe. After that, Ivor wanted to build alliances with nearby Viking clans and Saxon kingdoms, helping them take down Order members and establish their kingdoms. Meanwhile, Ivor keeps having these visions, so Valka gives her an elixir that makes Ivor dream of Asgard from Odin's POV. Turns out, Odin learned from a prophecy that someone named Fenrir would kill Odin. Things got worse when it turned out that Fenrir was an illegitimate child of his friend and blood brother Loki. After a lot of unnecessary fluff, because this game just can't help itself, Odin had Fenrir locked up and made it clear that Loki messed up big time.
You swore an oath to never spill my blood.
Step aside, and I won't have to.
This is my blood!
But Odin had bigger concerns. The end of the world, aka Ragnarok, was coming, and he had no way of stopping it. Luckily, Odin heard of a solution, a magical drink in Jotunheim. It was going to allow him and his fellow faction members, aka the Aesir, to reincarnate. Meanwhile, Ivor, Sigurd, and Basim find an Isu relic. Sigurd understands the writing on it, and Basim's like, dude, you're totally a god. And Sigurd believes him. This is when King Alfred of Wessex shows up with his army and surrounds them. Sigurd goes to make a deal for his men's freedom, and Folke, who is working for the Order of the Ancients, has King Alfred demand Sigurd give himself as prisoner.
I'll gift myself to you, because it is not my fate to die by your hand.
Sigurd agrees, and Basim and Ivor are forced to go back empty-handed. A month later, they decide to go free Sigurd. After a long search, they find that Folke has tortured Sigurd and even cut off his right arm. Ivor gets her men and kills Folke, rescuing Sigurd. And they find an Isu temple with a tree-shaped computer inside. They connect to the computers and are transported to Valhalla, where they got lost in endless battle. So Ivor convinces Sigurd to break free of this illusion, and they exit the simulation. When they wake up, Basim confronts them and drops a bombshell on them. Not only is Basim the reincarnation of Loki, which we already knew, but Ivor is the reincarnation of Odin, and Sigurd is the reincarnation of another Aesir named Tyr. Basim/Loki wants revenge on Odin, so he attacks Ivor. Luckily, Ivor manages to defeat and trap him in the Valhalla simulation. Sigurd then says she's the leader of the clan, so Ivor takes that role and heads back to England.
Where you go, Eivor, I will follow. Our clan is yours to lead.
Back in the present, the assassins realize that the magnetic field issue is being caused by the Isu towers Desmond Miles activated in 2012. To stabilize the field, Layla goes to Norway and enters the simulation. She meets Basim, who reveals that he's the one that guided them to Ivor's body. He tells Layla how to stabilize the field, and she does just that. One small problem, it traps Layla inside, and Basim is freed. Layla then meets the Reader, sort of ghost in the machine. She agrees to give up her physical body and stay with the Reader to stop future tragedies from happening. While she does this, Basim grabs the Staff of Hermes, which has the consciousness of Loki's lover, Alethea, and goes to meet Sean and Rebecca. While they go get William Miles, Basim enters the Animus and decides to look for Loki's children. Years later, Ivor realizes she can't suppress Odin's influence forever. Realizing she's done everything she can for the Raven clan, decides she's going to travel around the world and understand her connection with Odin. She rejects offers to join both the Hidden Ones and the Order, and heads off to Vinland. There, she spends her final years talking to Odin, and now's a good time to get into Odin's story.
So what natural force could cause such an upheaval?
How to explain?
As we know, Odin was an Isu. He was minding his own business with his wife Frigg when his son Balder was kidnapped by a Muspelheim warlord named Surtur. Odin and Frigg go to get Balder back, but Surtur defeats Odin and his wife Sinmara, while Sinmara kills Frigg. Odin is left for dead, but some dwarves save him, and Odin is hell-bent on getting revenge, so he saves the dwarf leader Ivaldi from Surtur's son Glod and kills him. He then finds and fights Surtur's daughter, Essia, hoping to kidnap her and use her as bait to lure out Surtur. And while Essia escapes, Odin learns that Surtur is after a powerful relic called Salakar. So Odin gets it before Surtur, and since Surtur is killing his own people, Essia joins Odin's side against her father. Sinmara then finds out that Odin has the Salakar, so she agrees to trade Baldur for it. Unfortunately, it turns out that Baldur's already dead. With that, the fight is on. Sinmara kills Essia for betraying her, so Odin uses the Salakar to kill her. He then finds Surtur, and the final battle is on, and Odin finally manages to defeat and kill Surtur, avenging his son. He goes back, happy that he's won, but he really shouldn't be, as another Isu named Harakan points out Surtur's death was the last domino. Odin just set off Ragnarok, also known as the end of the world, but Odin is determined to survive, no matter what he has to do. After this, Odin goes to see Hel in Niflheim. He wants her to resurrect Baldur. He dies, but just gets sent to the start of his journey, and he does this a bunch of times. Goes through a bunch of different areas, he eventually makes it to Hel and defeats her in combat, so she transports him to meet Baldur in a memory realm. There, Baldur says he's not trying to go through this whole reincarnation thing. He planned his own death so he could escape it.
Leave no trace of a feeling for you, else life will be unbearable.
You will bear it. Goodbye, father.
But when Odin goes back, he has no memory of this, so he just keeps trying to resurrect his son. Bro's literally moving like Sisyphus. Basim finishes these memories and realizes that Ivor's relationship with Odin is completely different from his own relationship with Loki. Basim exits the Animus and meets William Miles. William is willing to work with Basim, but only if he lets Basim access his genetic memories. And that's a tie into Assassin's Creed Mirage. Okay, the next game kicks off, as usual, in the modern day. William Miles tells one of his assassins to relive the memories of a former hidden one named Basim Ishak. As William puts it, they have a lot to learn from Basim. So the Animus is booted up. Here we go, again. We go to 861 AD in the town of Anbar in modern-day Iraq. Basim was just an average young thief, living with his childhood friend Nihal, and Basim wakes up from a nightmare. He's been haunted by visions of a djinn ever since he was a kid. Anyway, Basim is a simple dream. He wants to be a hidden one. Hidden Ones was just the prehistoric name for assassins. Basim gets his chance sooner than he thinks. He completes a contract for a man named Darwish, after which he meets the female Hidden One named Rashan. Unfortunately, Rashan rejects his application to join the Hidden Ones.
I can do more!
2 of my best men died on this pursuit. I doubt a cheat thief would fare much better.
Then let me join you. You have 2 openings.
So to prove he's worthy, Basim decides to steal a chest Rashan is after from the Winter Palace of the Caliph, aka the leader of Anbar. Nihal joins him, and they see something strange. The Caliph is being threatened by masked members of the Order of the Ancients. Think of them as the modern cult of Cosmos. Anyway, Basim opens the chest, and inside is a memory seal, an ancient relic with the ability to record and store the user's memories. More on this later. The Caliph then catches Basim stealing and tries to strangle him, so Nihal has to kill the freaking Caliph to save her friend, and they escape with the memory seal. The next day, after another djinn nightmare, Rashan shows up and tells Basim to escape the city with her.
I'm giving you a second chance.
Basim then goes to Nihal and Derwish and sees that the Caliph guards have killed a lot of thieves in their search for Basim. Since the Caliph guards are on his ass for killing the Caliph, Basim blames Nihal for ruining everything and leaves with Rashan. Bro literally switched up on his day one. One badass chase scene later, the story is officially underway. Basim spends the next couple of months in Alamut Castle, which is protected by Taharids. There, Basim gets trained as a Hidden One. The training is long and hard, and Basim gets his ass kicked by Rashan and mentor Rayon. But he pulls through and even gets his own eagle companion named Enkidu. After officially joining the Brotherhood, Basim, Rashan, and Fulad al-Hami and other Hidden Ones are sent to Baghdad to investigate the Order of the Ancients. With the Caliph dead, those bastards are extending their control.
We must go to Baghdad.
After setting up a base in Baghdad, Basim looks for the head of the Zanj rebellion, Ali ibn Muhammad, who's been captured by the Order. Instead, Basim meets Ali's right-hand man, Beshi, and reunites with Durish as well, who is super happy to see him alive. Basim then rescues Ali from the Damascus Gate prison, who directs Basim toward Masoud al-Yaqub.
Masoud al-Yaqub. He runs Baghdad's soap mills, finds paying work for foreign settlers.
A member of the Order who Basim takes out in brutal style. After that, Basim is a vision of the Jinn. Something's definitely going on. After that, Basim reunites with Nihal, but it's not exactly storybook stuff. You see, Nihal has been researching the artifacts the Hidden Ones and the Order are after. She feels, well, drawn to them, and Nihal does not trust the Hidden Ones. She then says that it's the Order that might have the solution to Basim's Jinn visions, but Basim shuts her down.
Sometimes it is better not to know the truth behind the things we must do.
His loyalty to the Hidden Ones comes before everything, even their lifelong friendship. As time passes, Basim takes out the other members of the Order in Baghdad. He then finds out that the Order has infiltrated the House of Wisdom in the Abbasia district, and are building a machine called the Al-Ru using ancient Isu technology. It's story time! To put it simply, the Isu were the civilization that lived before humans on Earth, and they were way more technologically advanced than us, and I'm gonna reveal more about them as it becomes relevant. Anyway, Basim goes to the House of Wisdom and kills Order members named Hassan and Zara. Later, Basim finds that Fasil Fahim al-Khamsa is the leader of the Order in this region and kills him too. Following that, he's another vision of the Jinn. Looks like it'll happen after every major kill. In Kark, the western side of Baghdad, Basim, Roshan, and Basim's friend Kong learn that the Order has set up a blockade at the harbor and are looking for a rare hairpin. Basim then attends the annual grand auction. There he finds out that the Chinese merchant Ning is the leader of the Order in Kark, and you guessed it, Basim kills her too.
In the end, we are absolutely, simply, truly alone.
Our boy is on a killing spree, hell yeah. Unfortunately, that means that he has to see the Jinn again, which is not fun for him. Meanwhile, in Sharkia, some Order members have been executing rebels in order to bait Ali into showing himself, and Ali is mad. So Basim kills the Order members responsible and finds the leader of the Order in Sharkia, Wasif al-Turki. Unfortunately, when Basim and Ali go to free the rebels held captive and face Wasif, they see Wasif kill Beshi. No! So Ali and his rebels deal with Wasif's men, while Basim takes out Wasif. Cue the creepy Jinn vision again. With so many Order members killed, only the Order's leader is left, so Basim tries to find out who it is by investigating 3 suspects. Baghdad's governor, Muhammad ibn Tahir, the poet, Arib al-Mamuniya, and the royal concubine, Kabia. Basim finds out that the Order has convinced Muhammad ibn Tahir to remove the Tarida's protection of Alamut. The Hidden Ones are in trouble. He then finds out that Kabia is the leader of the Order in Baghdad, and goes to kill her. But Kabia says she's aware of Basim's true nature. She sees that he's more than a man, and tells him to find the truth in an Isu temple under Alamut. But Roshan was following Basim, and she immediately kills Kabia, telling Basim to forget what Kabia was just yapping about. If he doesn't, Roshan will kill him herself. Now, Basim knows that Nihal was right. The Hidden Ones are hiding something from him, so he grabs Nihal and heads to Alamut to discover the truth. One battle against the Taharid later, Mentor Rayhan gives Basim permission to explore the Isu temple.
If I can gain the knowledge they seek, it can be what finally gives us an edge in this endless war. This is the way forward for the Hidden Ones.
Unfortunately, he's gonna have to face Roshan first. In an epic battle, the student surpasses his teacher. Basim takes down Roshan and heads into the temple with Nihal. There, he finds a bunch of memory seals locked away and realizes that Nihal isn't actually real. She's a figment of his imagination. He then goes through his mind and finds the cell where the ancient Isu Loki was once tortured and held captive. You know how the Norse mythology of gods has Odin and Thor and Loki and all those guys? Well, in the world of Assassin's Creed, they're not just myths. They're very real, and they were part of the ancient Isu civilization. The Isu were about to be wiped out by a global catastrophe, but Odin had a plan to live forever. Reincarnation through humans. Loki's son Fenrir opposed this, so Odin and his followers killed him. Loki tried to oppose Odin, so he locked Loki up and tortured him. Odin then made memory seals to seal away Loki's memories and made sure he never reincarnated. But Loki secretly put his reincarnation into process, and when you know it, good old Basim is the reincarnation of Loki. What's more, the Jinn is the manifestation of Loki's traumatic memories, and Nihal is a manifestation of the Isu's consciousness. Basim confronts the Jinn and banishes it before doing what I can only describe as merging with Nihal. After that, Basim is welcomed back by all the Hidden Ones except Roshan. She quits and leaves the Brotherhood. Later, it's clear Basim has become a different person. Even his own eagle doesn't recognize him. Basim then decides to look for other Isu reincarnations like himself. A whole new world is waiting for him. So, full disclosure, this game is really bad. like, actually impressively bad. Like, we've survived some absolute disasters in this franchise before, but this one just somehow digs a brand new hole and then just jumps right into it. Still, Ubisoft decided that this is canon, so unfortunately we do have to talk about it. So here we go. In 1581, an African slave named Diogo comes to Kyoto as part of a Jesuit delegation to negotiate safe passage for Christian missionaries across Japan. They meet Oda Nobunaga, who agrees on one condition: Diogo stays.
I see potential in this man. A warrior whose spirit can inspire armies.
Renamed Yasuke, he's transferred into Nobunaga's service and begins training as a samurai. 6 months later, Yasuke joins Nobunaga during a brutal invasion of the Iga province, an operation meant to wipe out the Iga shinobi entirely. On the other side of the massacre is Fujibayashi Nawe, a young shinobi. Her father, Nagato, gives her a hidden blade and one job: retrieve a mysterious box and protect it at all costs.
Inside the coffin is a box. Protect it with your life. You said you wanted help. Now's the time.
So Nawe heads out to get it, and is ambushed by a masked samurai. She gets cooked and is injured, while the box is taken. Nagato rescues her, and after recovering, Nawe hunts the masked attacker down, assassinates him, and reclaims the box. But the win lasts about 5 seconds. As she escapes, she's shot, cornered by more masked men, and the box is taken again. Nagato tries to save her again, only to be killed by the masked men. With his final breath, he tells Nawe to follow the blade. The guy wasn't here for a very long time, but he was a total badass. Months later, Nawe fully recovers from her wounds under the care of Junjiro and Soren, and sets out for revenge. She seeks help from Tomiko, an old family friend who gives her a base, and tells her to go to Sakai. There, Nawe starts tracking down and assassinating the masked men involved in her father's death. She's then approached by Akechi Mitsuhide, one of Oda's men.
I want you to help me kill Lord Oda Nobunaga,
who then claims that Oda himself leads the masked group called Shimbakufu and convinces Nawe to help take Oda out. Nawe infiltrates Honaji Temple, confronts Oda, and that's when we get hit with a bombshell. Mitsuhide lied. Nobunaga isn't part of the Shimbakufu at all. With Mitsuhide's forces closing in, Nobunaga realizes that he totally is cooked. So he chooses to commit seppuku with help from Yasuke. Surely there was a better option. Nawe then escapes. Meanwhile, Yasuke is totally cooked, he's got nothing left, and he's looking for purpose in life. So he approaches Nawe and saves her from Mitsuhide's men, and he then asks to join her. See, during the invasion of Iga, he killed Momochi Sandayu, their leader. But Momochi also had a hidden blade and told Yasuke to help Nawe if he ever found her.
The girl from Iga with the same blade. Trust her. Help her.
Nawe understandably wants nothing to do with him. After all, she blames him for killing so many of her loved ones. But then comes the emotional whiplash. You see, Junjiro says that she should forgive Yasuke because Nawe was the one who killed Junjiro's father. Since Junjiro forgave her, she should forgive Yasuke. So she does. Together, Nawe and Yasuke hunt down more Shimbakufu members, crossing paths with Tokugawa Ieyasu and Hattori Hanzo, a former Iga shinobi. Hanzo tells Nawe to abandon the box entirely, saying that both her parents died protecting it, but Nawe is totally locked in on the box. So he tells her where she can learn the full truth.
If this is the path you choose, you will walk it alone. In Setsu, there is a coffin. You will find the answers you seek inside.
Nawe heads there and finds an old assassin hideout and a journal explaining everything the game probably should have told us earlier. The assassins were ordered by the emperor to rebuild a brotherhood in Japan. Nawe's mother, Tsuyu, was one of them. Choosing to continue that mission, Nawe, Yasuke, Tomiko, and Junjiro from the League of the Hidden Blade. Cause the assassins didn't have enough names already. As the league grows, they take down the rest of the Shimbakufu. They forgive one of them, but brutally assassinate the rest, and those bastards really deserve it. They keep killing and killing and killing until only Mitsuhide and the group's true leader are left. They attack Shoryuji Castle and finally take down Mitsuhide. They then reveal the truth. The Shimbakufu's leader is Ashikaga Yoshiaki, the former shogun trying to claw his way back to power. With that, Ashiba Hideyoshi claims victory and promises to reform Japan. So Nawe politely warns him not to f it up, or else.
You will hear from us.
I'm sure that I will.
Later, the assassins track down the Shimbakufu leader, Yoshiaki, and corner him. They would kill him, but decide to let him live in exchange for information. Yoshiaki reveals that the stolen box is actually one of 3 boxes, and each one has an imperial regalia of Japan. the sword, the mirror, and the jewel, back to the Shimbakufu, and that a Templar named Komura Kei is recruiting in Ki. Oh, and one more thing, Naoi's mother, Tsuyu, is actually still alive. Took a while, but we're back to doing Assassin Templar stuff again. So, Naoi and Yasuke split up, and Yasuke goes full assassin mode. He kills Darte de Mello, the Portuguese slaver he once served, and then he kills Komura Kei. Finally, he confronts Nunakaro, the Templar leader in Japan, who murdered Yasuke's mother a long time ago. Yasuke kills Karo, and officially declares war on the Templars. Meanwhile, Naoi travels to Yamato and learns the truth about her mother, Tsuyu. The assassins were massacred while protecting the regalia. Tsuyu saved one artifact, gave it to Nagato, and vanished. Naoi returns her box, honoring her father's last wish. Hanzo then returns with a second box, admitting he betrayed the assassins out of jealousy after Tsuyu chose Nagato over him.
The things I did to impress her. But she chose Nagato, a lower rank to Jisamurai. The pain and the shame were unbearable.
Talk about a salty ex, god damn. Naoi forgives him because everyone gets forgiven in this game and recruits him to help find Tsuyu. They search, and Hanzo tracks Tsuyu to Awaji Island, ruled by the Templars' allies, Sanzoku Ippa. There, Naoi finally reunites with her mother, only to be captured by Komura Yukari. Yukari lured Naoi there to force Tsuyu into revealing the final regalia's location. Yasuke shows up and rescues them, but Tsuyu is wounded in the escape. With no choice left, she reveals where the regalia is hidden, but it's immediately stolen by Yukari and Sanzoku Ippa. To get it back, Naoi and Yasuke take down Yukari's 3 lieutenants. With Yukari's men gone, her power over the island is pretty weak. The people of Awaji take this as a sign to start a revolution, and the assassins attack Awaya Castle. Tsuyu gets the regalia, while Yasuke fights Yukari and kills her. Nice. Naoi then rescues Tsuyu one final time. Mother and daughter then embrace in a truly heartwarming scene. Tsuyu accepts that her life as a warrior is over, and finally accepts her role as Naoi's mother. The imperial regalia is then returned to the emperor. Tsuyu then leaves for Iga, but Naoi stays behind with Yasuke and Junjiro. They're her new family, and I think that that's pretty nice. Okay, that's our video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out the other videos on screen right now. See ya.